What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Points of the Crown. It is April 2nd, a Wednesday, a tumultuous Wednesday, depending on what region of the country and or world you live in. Am I having an internet connection issue? Am I actually streaming? I just got a bunch of wild things popping up saying check your connection. Well, let's just take a quick look. Am I actually? We're live. I think StreamYard's just popping off a little bit, which is normal, probably. But yeah, today I don't know about you guys, but I've been I've been been a little run down since this past weekend. I'm not sick. I drove straight home from Richmond Comic Con this past weekend, and I didn't get home till almost, I think it was 4 in the morning. I did make a pit stop at a rest stop in PA and took a quick nap, a little 45-minute nap. But there's something about travel. There's something about working all weekend. It was a long weekend too. Working all weekend and then getting home at 4 in the morning that I just have not been able to quite catch up on sleep. And I kept putting off going to the grocery store to pick up some provisions. And we'll just say that today it became urgent that I go to the grocery store. But I was also doing laundry, so I couldn't leave the house until the laundry was done. By the time laundry was done, I get on the road. It's looking a bit grim outside, a bit dark. And as I'm leaving the grocery store with all of said provisions, chiefly the most important one being toilet paper, as I was officially out, the sky was green. Like a dark, like it looked like it was nighttime. The street lights had come on, and it wasn't quite raining yet, which is probably scarier that it wasn't raining. And then on the way home, it proceeded to completely douse everything. First in a torrent of rain, and then hail. So I haven't had a good look at my car yet to see if there's any damage, but it was coming down pretty hard. Some people are saying it was quarter size. For those of you that still have your pocket change, quarters. And I did get home in one piece. I treated some stop signs very liberally, but we made it home. There were no tornadoes to speak of, but we did have some very severe watches going on. So hopefully you guys are all safe out there. Hopefully your stuff didn't get damaged. Dave, what's up in the chat? If you guys are hanging out in the chat tonight, say howdy do. Say hello. James may be joining us later. James is actually doing an interview as we speak on another channel. I do not recall what channel it was because I'm bad at life. But we'll definitely get you info as to what that is so you can check it out later. But he's promoting his Kickstarter for his card game. So you guys will definitely want to check that out. I'm going to do a little bit of a Richmond recap. We've got the meat and potatoes subject that we're going to dive into tonight. But we're going to start off with some lighter news. You guys want some lighter news? I feel like, let's see, present screen. I feel like we need some lighter news. I've got good news, is that the city killer asteroid that was headed toward us, it looks like the moon's going to take a hit on that one instead. It's gonna do us a solid. It's just going to sweep right in front, possibly, and take a hit. The challenge that I've got with all the news that's come out with this is that they keep calling it a non-zero chance of hitting. So you're telling me there's a chance, but you're not telling me what it is. It's just not zero. Seems awfully vague to me. But it got me thinking, like, if this asteroid, number one, is hurtling towards us. What was it? Armageddon? That came out like, what, late 90s, early 2000s. Do we have any other plan up our sleeve for a city killer asteroid or potentially world ending asteroid? Should it come our way? Because if we're still hoping that Bruce Willis will climb into a rocket, I will say that our rockets are definitely better now. From what it's, well, that's debatable too. I was going to say it's better now than they were back in the 60s or even in the 90s. But we haven't been back to the moon since whichever was it, Apollo, one of the Apollo missions. So maybe we're worse off. And on top of that, last I heard, Bruce Willis is not doing so good. So we need a plan B. And I've admittedly put very little thought into what plan B should be, because I'm not even sure we have a plan A other than fly a ship of non-astronauts to the said asteroid while it's coming at us. So we're going to drive up to it. We're going to catch up with it. We're going to land on there. We're going to drill a hole deep into this asteroid and put an atomic bomb inside of it. Seems, I mean, as far as plan A goes, I guess that's pretty good. I think plan B nowadays would be like just shoot something at it. Maybe one of those high energy weapons that we've got. I don't know if it'd be like a laser, some sort of energy beam, something like that. But the idea of sending a ragtag group of anybody to a moving object that is hurtling through space seems like a bad idea. If this were to hit Earth, I think they were saying, I'm not going to read this. There's a lot of words here. I don't feel like reading. I'm going to be doing some reading later. But they're saying that like it could potentially take out cities, multiple cities, possibly even a state. Choose your favorite state. There it goes. So the impact, they say, should have around 500 times the energy released by Little Boy, which, if you're not familiar with the name of certain nuclear weapons, sounds like 500 little boys are going to smack into. So my proposition is that we load up maybe 505 little boys and we launch it. We launch said children, perhaps even a school bus shaped vehicle at the asteroid. But the good news is it's allegedly not going to hit us. It's just going to hit the moon. As far as I know, there's no cities on the moon that I'm aware of. So should be good, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys having a good week so far? It's Wednesday. I really am in a time warp. I spent a decent part of today, including just now, thinking it was Monday. It is not Monday. I need to finish getting ready because I am going to be at AwesomeCon tomorrow. I got to drive up there to set up. I've been very, I don't know if lackadaisical is the right word. I've been approaching every week over the last 6 weeks very at the last minute. So if I'm supposed to be getting in a hotel or going somewhere, I'm pretty much figuring it out that week. So like last week going to Richmond, I think I booked my hotel while I was still at Indy or wherever I was the week before. It's been very last minute. I have to, in order to keep my stress levels down, I have to compartmentalize everything that I do. Otherwise, I start thinking about everything and I start to spiral very quickly. I know there's a couple times last year where my schedule was getting super busy, especially with Kickstarters and everything else, where I was trying to get loaded up to leave and I was literally like, my head was spinning and I had to sit down. So I very much so compartmentalize everything that I do. For better or for worse, that's just how I handle it. Is it the best way to handle it? I don't know, but it is a way to handle it. So that's what I'm doing. So coming into AwesomeCon, out in Washington, D.C., I'm realizing there was a couple things I was supposed to send them by March 20th, which the last I checked the calendar was at least a couple weeks ago. I did not send these documents. Now, they said it was a requirement to be able to do their show. And technically, I have said documents. I just didn't send them to anybody. Maybe. So I checked the website. It still has me listed as an exhibitor. So I suppose that's good. This is by far the most expensive show that I'm doing this year. So I'm really hoping that number one, either they don't care, or number two, they're like, oh yeah, no big deal. You got the documents. That's great. Come on in. We'll find out tomorrow. I need to leave the house probably by 7. Drive up there, good old Washington, D.C. Most of the drive will be nice and serene, low stress. And the closer you get to that beltway where you can go from D.C. to like Baltimore or down to Richmond or wherever, if I had hair to rip out, I would rip out my hair. The traffic gets insane. It's very silly how people drive. It's when I say silly, I mean incredibly dangerous. To the point of which, when I was both driving to Richmond and returning from Richmond, because you kind of have to go the same way, I opted to pay extra to go into the express lanes. These express lanes, like any other, they run directly parallel to the main highway. And for the extra $10 or whatever it is, it just means that you're not going to have to worry about someone slamming on their brakes for no reason, which is worth $10. So it's definitely worth it going in. Leaving for the first leg of it, it was definitely worth it. The second leg of the express lanes, at a certain point, I felt like the traffic in the regular lanes was moving just as fast, but I'm like, I would rather have peace of mind that no one's going to just slam on the brakes for no reason. So we got through that just fine. And maybe during all that time, I could have come up with a better plan B for taking out this asteroid. Allegedly, it's 2032. So we've got, what, 7 years-ish to figure out something. So if you guys have any suggestions, this might be an ongoing topic of how we could take care of said asteroid. But if it hits the moon, it seems like it might be inconsequential. In fact, I think we should probably start looking at the moon for all of our solutions to our problems. So, for instance, there was a big thing in the news, I don't know, 7 years ago, that Japan, with all of its nuclear waste from its nuclear reactors, what it had decided to do, like in the U.S., we encapsulate our nuclear waste in like these giant concrete bins, and then we bury them in the side of this mountain, right? And we seal off the mountain, and unless something earth-shattering happens that's literally going to kill all of us, there's really no reason why any of that stuff should get out. And if it does, that's someone's problem like hundreds of thousands of years from now, right? In theory. What Japan opted to do was, because instead of, going into, was it Mount Fuji out there? Let's not mess with that. Sounds expensive. Also sounds like a, landmark that you don't want to mess with. Look really bad if the tourists saw a bunch of nuclear waste going into the mountain. They decided to encapsulate their waste in these concrete bins and then drop them into the ocean. I don't know if they've ever seen Godzilla. I'm pretty sure this is the plot to Godzilla. And no, this is not April 1st. This is April 2nd. So we're not allowed to lie to you auspiciously anymore. We have to be somewhat truthful. And to the best of my knowledge, that was the story. They were literally just dropping giant concrete bins of nuclear waste into the ocean. It's probably fine. So how about instead of dropping our nuclear waste into an ocean or putting it in the mountain, what if we just put it on the moon? Let's put it on the moon. We've got all these garbage heaps piling up. There's an infamous one out on the east side of Ohio on the Pennsylvania border. There's a landfill that has so much rotten, disgusting waste in it that there's perpetual fires underneath. So there's just this constant plume of smoke coming out. They're not sure when the fire started, allegedly, but it's just been burning and burning and burning. So maybe instead of piling up all of our trash next to the border so our neighbors can see it and smell it, maybe we launch that stuff at the moon. And then someday, when we go to live on the moon, because we've pretty much wrecked the Earth, and the moon's finally looking good for once, then we can clean up the problem. Because we're not using it for anything else, right? Allegedly, when we landed up there years and years ago, we put, if you believe that thing about the moon landing, allegedly we put up a big reflective plate that we could shoot lasers at. Which sounds totally normal. That's the equivalent of throwing beer cans in the backyard and popping them with BB guns, I think. So we're already leaving stuff up there. We're already leaving our trash up there. We might as well just start launching our trash up there. And since we have our lasers sighted in, we've got a pretty good shot at the moon. If we could find like a way to make like a giant spud launcher and just launch our trash up there, I think we're in a pretty good spot. So that's just one of my ideas as to, number one, how we can clean up the Earth. Number two, how we can get the moon's resistance to being hit with stuff build up. If we just practice launching our crap at the moon, that one day when this asteroid comes around with the power of 500 little boys, where was it? Just so you know, I'm not lying. They said the Hiroshima bomb. And they said the little boy. Maybe in 7 years we will have built up its tolerance to being hit, and when it does get hit by that asteroid, it'll be good to go. This is just a harebrained idea I have. Feel free to critique me. Say hi in the chat if you're showing up. Hit that like button. Let's do a quick Richmond recap. I was in Richmond. Were any of you guys at conventions this weekend? Anybody? Anyone? Bueller? Let's take a look. Share this tab instead. So Richmond GalaxyCon. What can I say about it? It was in Richmond. This was the first year that they had moved to a 4-day show. 4 days. Previously a 3-day show. And they had grown it so much that it felt like it should become a 4-day. Now, I don't know what kind of metrics and numbers you need to look at to be like, yes, we should do this. For a lot of people, I'm just speaking off the cuff here, a lot of people felt like the numbers kind of just got spread from Friday into Thursday. That if you rolled the numbers together, you had a pretty good Friday. Otherwise, it was, I don't know. You pretty much just spent a whole extra day at the convention, which gave me time to work on stuff. The pace was okay. Don't get me wrong. There's a decent crowd for a Thursday. Well, I wasn't setting any land speed records. Ben weighs in. Ben, what's up, buddy? I mean, we do have a giant radioactive glowing ball that can melt just about anything as a target. Here's my only counterpoint to using the sun, because I originally thought the sun, right? It's like a giant incinerator. My grandmother used to burn trash until the EPA literally showed up and told her to quit burning trash in her backyard. She lives out in the country. We put, back in the 60s or whenever it was, we put reflective discs on the moon so we could shoot lasers at it, right? Instead of reflect back to Earth, which also sounds like a Dr. Evil space weapon. Why put a moon base up there with a laser when we could just reflect lasers off the moon? Sounds pretty ingenious. Surprised no one's really thought this one through yet. But the thing is, we can sight our sights in on the moon and know that we're going to hit with certainty because of said laser. We have no way to bounce a laser back from the sun. And God forbid we actually shine lasers at the sun and supercharge it. And then now we have like a supernova sun that just destroys everything, right? Um, my thought processes would be like, this is gonna be hard to illustrate, but if we're here and the sun's here and we're going around, right? And at the wrong point we launch the trash, it's like, oh, it's gonna miss. It's gonna hit us when we come back around, right? This is about as scientific as I can get. If we're spinning around and we shoot and we miss, good chance it's gonna hit us again with great speed at that point. And in the cold vacuum of space, it will not just be trash. It will be frozen solid chunks of ice trash. And that sounds awful. Now, if we could somehow do that and still have it hit the moon, I would say we have the greatest scientists in the universe. That's a heck of a shot. Some would say 1 in a million. I would say once in a lifetime, because I'm only alive for so long. And if it happens, then yes, it did happen literally once in my lifetime. But I do like the ingenuity. I do like the resourcefulness. And I think you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just start shooting stuff at the sun. You know, our government has. I mean, of all the other wild stuff they've done, they have certainly been like, hey, all right, so we launched a nuke in this place called the Bikini Bottom. It's hilarious. We shot one there. Went great. One would say we blasted all the crabs off the Bikini Bottom. Hilarious. We've launched countless nukes out in the middle of the desert. To the point where allegedly there was issues with radioactive drift going into people's crops and stuff, giving people cancer and all this. So certainly we've done that. There's been accidents where we've accidentally dropped, I believe it was in North Carolina. There was a cargo bay that opened on one of our planes, and it dropped a nuclear bomb into a swamp. Didn't detonate, but apparently caused all kinds of issues out there. Not to mention what all these other countries are doing, right? Who knows, like, where's France going to test a nuclear bomb? Well, perhaps we say, hey, France, we got this idea. We'll let you test out some nukes over here in like New Mexico or so, someplace in the middle of nowhere, right? But we want to launch one of your nukes at the sun. I think there's some legs to that. Uh-oh. Ben's got more details here. We shot one of the Voyager satellites into the sun. One went out of the solar system. The other had a shorter trip. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, okay, we don't have a great shot record. You know, if we were in any sport and there were some bets being placed, it's kind of 50-50 right now whether or not we can hit the sun. So I guess the offset being is that if we miss, there's also a really good chance that sucker just goes. That being said, it's got to end up somewhere, right? I always hate the that what do you want to say, like that theoretical conversation people have, that like if we really do live in an infinite universe with infinite chances and infinite possibilities, that you have recurring things, almost like a fractal pattern of things that can happen that are so similar but just a tiny minute change over and over and over and over again. That would mean that whatever we launch into space has to hit something. And depending on what timeline that we're in, whatever reality that we're in this fractal pattern, is that this could be the start of an intergalactic war. Or maybe it ends one. Maybe somewhere millions of light years away. You know, far, far beyond us, ash to ash, dust to dust. We've been gone for millennia. And maybe this nuke that we launch into the nether regions of space actually wins a giant civil perhaps it blows up the Death Star in someone else's movie. I don't see why we don't just start launching this stuff into space as it is. This is fantastic. I'm glad that we've all had this conversation here tonight. These are the things that I think of, and I'm glad you're all on board for it. Um, Closing notes on Richmond. I had a good time. I did feel like the crowd spending habits were spread thin between 4 days. Um, it was not a very fast-paced sale for most people I spoke with. It did seem like we were pulling teeth to get people to buy stuff, and I am not a licensed dentist. And that being said, I did beat last year's numbers, so that's good. But I also, I did have some internet issues. Everybody that goes to Richmond has internet issues. One person who did not, it's my dear friend Kevin, the bearded artist, who turned me on to one of these little guys. You're like, oh, that's a cell phone. Kind of. This is a Chinese Wi-Fi hotspot that will parasite itself into any phone, internet, or Wi-Fi connection possible. This is the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible spy device that for less than what most places are charging for internet for the day, I can get 10 gigabytes of data for the weekend, and it will somehow somehow just like pirate its way, pirate's probably not the right word, through all these different Wi-Fi connections to get me internet. It looks shady as hell. Military time and everything. But it's very simple little device. You just pick how much you want to pay. I probably shouldn't be showing all this to the screen in case someone tries to steal all my data that I haven't paid for yet. But I will be using this in the future because I don't want to down on a really good sale, unfortunately. Where was I? So Richmond, decent time. Interesting interaction at the hotel. I've never had a hotel offer me hot dogs. I showed up to check in, and they said, if you don't have anything going on tonight, we are cooking hot dogs. And sure as hell, I look out the window, and they they were roasting weenies. I didn't partake, but good to have options. So yeah, the big problem with Richmond for next year is that they MegaCon will be the same weekend. MegaCon already picked its dates. I should say unfortunately, because MegaCon was a really good show. I've already signed up for MegaCon next year. They already have my money. So unfortunately for GalaxyCon Richmond, I did not re-up. There's a lot of people I talked to that were trying to figure out ways to do proxies, that sort of thing. But unfortunately, by the end of the weekend, most everyone just said, "You gotta let it go." And we all broke into Frozen sing along to "Let It Go, Let It Go." But we let GalaxyCon Richmond go, which is sad. If I had sad music to play right now, maybe like the Incredible Hulk theme song while he's walking away, something really sad, because it is a pretty solid show. I don't know what else to say. It's good people there. They had a good lineup. Kurt and the crew there, and they definitely take care of us as far as vendors go. But I did meet a celebrity. I don't know his name. I don't know if he's currently doing anything. I think it was Thursday. He must have been having a slow day. He was just kind of walking around. And I was just pretty blunt with him. I was like, "Hey, dude, I apologize. I kind of live under a rock. I don't know who you are or what you do." And he introduced himself, and he said that he is a voice actor. And his original starring role was he was Chip, the little cup from Beauty and the Beast. He was a child voice actor. And apparently he had played some other parts when he was a kid. Pretty much started out his life with a career. And I thought that was neat. I don't know what his name was. I don't know what he's currently doing. Well, other than signing stuff at Richmond GalaxyCon. But pretty neat. It's always kind of neat to meet celebrities. I don't know. Even if I'm not currently watching anything that they're doing, it's still kind of neat. I was able to make the most of the space here. I opted to put this corner leg on the outside of the table instead of drilling a new hole. I will never again not have this leg inside the table. I can't tell you how many people tried to lean on this pole, put their hand on it, like when they went around the corner. And I'm like, that is a piece of structural integrity, friends. And you're about to play Samson to my pillar. That sounded really wrong. You're about to tear down my whole, uh, uh, whatever you call this, booth. I'm struggling tonight. You're about to tear down my whole booth. This pillar is not, or this pole is not here for you to lean on. But we did have some good success. We sold out Power Ranger canvases and the Doomslayer canvases. We sold all kinds of turtles. I'm telling you, though, it's hard to see here. I don't know if I got a better shot or not. That's even further away. Yeah, these guys right here. The Berserk prints have been the hot item. I think I actually sold more sets of Berserk prints at this show than I did turtles, which is wild. Wild. But we had a really good show. So this weekend's Awesome Con. I'm not totally looking forward to it just because I know the setup and teardown is kind of a pain, but whatever is what it is. Let's do a couple quick Kickstarter recaps. It's only a couple days left to back Alice in Slaughterland. I'm gonna share something else real quick while we're talking about that. Just a few days left to back that. I think it's Friday, maybe it's done. But I'm very excited about it. It's going incredibly well. I am one person. I am but one humble artist. But one amazingly humble, talented, lonely artist that occasionally rambles on the internet. But I think this is going great. I'm not going to play the preview or whatever, but implementing a style that I never really used before, this sort of animation kind of look. People are loving it. People that have the 9-page preview are loving it. The quality of the book is fantastic. Only a few days left. That being said, I couldn't help but notice that this was just launched. And I can't help but think that there's some spies among me. There's an Alice in Zombieland. Not that I'm the first person to ever put any sort of spin on Alice. It just, the timing seems a bit, I don't know, too convenient. So perhaps some of the friends at Zenoscope are spying on me. I don't actually think that's happening. Like I said, well, they've been doing fairy tale stuff forever. But the art does look good. I'll give it to them there. It looks good. This cover looks great. Was it Draxgal, I think, did this one. The interiors definitely look good. These guys know how to make comics. That's fine. It's just timing. So all of you that are currently backing Alice in Slaughterland, I need you to stay on board with me, friends. Just a few more days, 3 days to go. And we're not too far from hitting that third stretch goal. So one day, the goal is I would love to be hitting these kind of numbers on a Kickstarter. We got to keep growing that thing. My buddy James, he's currently doing an interview. Share this tab instead. He's got his trading cards that are going on. Definitely check that out. He's got some really cool stuff, and he can get some commissions done. His sketch cards that he actually hand draws. Is there any examples on here? He has some really cool hand-drawn sketch cards, so definitely check him out. Last one I want to show you, and this is sort of an update for the channel. Our dear friend Stan, God rest his soul, he's dead. He would not be able to get on a ship with Bruce Willis to take out an asteroid. God rest his soul. This has been the ongoing story as to uh, is this ethical? Is this good? Uh, what's the spin? A lot of folks were saying that this seemed like a money grab, that this guy that had been following Stan around, that this was a uh, bit of a predatory move of him to film Stan at some of his lowest points, being quote unquote taken advantage of, quote unquote, by his management team. And I, at this point, would be very surprised if he hits his goal. He's got 8 days left and needs to raise just over $200,000. So I don't know about this one. It's interesting. I've seen a couple more just like snips of him in some different interviews. But he did address the fact that I think it's Moist Critical Charlie, something like that. Pretty much did a what he called, I think he called it a hit piece, that this very famous YouTuber with millions of subscribers and all that pretty much came out and trashed this whole campaign. And now if you look at his comments and stuff, it's all like, I'm disappointed. This is awful. Todd McFarlane said it was good, but this is bad. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of all this. I don't think he's going to hit his goal. I think he should still put out the footage to some capacity. Perhaps he launches another Kickstarter that doesn't have the intentions of recreating scenes. I don't know what kind of scenes you would recreate. Or maybe downgrade the quality of them instead of getting actors, maybe get puppets. Have some, like a little Stan Lee puppet. I'm sure that wouldn't degrade the value of his legacy. I think this is how we all feel right now. Just head down on the table. Just ready to be done with it. So we've talked about asteroids. We've done a Richmond recap. We've talked about our Kickstarter updates. It's time to get into the meat and potatoes of tonight, friends. Number one, social media. I'm pretty sure social media is designed to make us hate everyone. I don't think it's there to actually benefit anyone. The original thought concept of like, you can stay in touch with your family and your friends, and they can like your photos, and you can like arrange, these different things. That's all been replaced with vitriol, venom, anger, wrath, gnashing of teeth. I have not had a Twitter. I don't know that I ever had a Twitter profile. I do have an X profile. I did pick one up because they had changed it that you had to have a profile to be able to like see stuff. Because I would occasionally lurk, but by and large, I just knew that Twitter was a problem, right? Twitter is an issue. It is a festering cesspool of anger and deceit. How can you trust anything on there? Especially now, how could you trust anything? With the advent of AI and the fact that X itself, I believe, somehow financially has been integrated with XAI. So now there's just AI everywhere. Some would say fake news. Some would say made up news. Some would say maybe AI is the best thing ever. And it certainly seems as though that seems to be the new talking point amongst many, is that those of us that are resting on our laurels and not embracing AI, or even turning a nose up to it, that perhaps we need to get with the program. This is where this conversation starts. this post here. And by the way, I don't advocate for my massive following to go after any of these people. I think should engage in, if anything, we should be engaging in positive conversations. Um, so we'll see how this conversation goes here tonight. And when I say conversation, those of you in the chat that are hanging out, feel free to weigh in with your thoughts. But I'm going to read. This is we'll say the push that got the boulder rolling. This comes from a account called AI and Design. AI haters don't actually care about copyright or IP infringement. They're merely upset with the fact that now everyone can do it, as opposed to only people with art skills were able to in the past. Well, there is no legal or ethical difference between generating an image in the style of another artist with AI or hand drawing it. AI has simply made it possible for everyone to do it. But before you reply, the AI model creator is infringing. Stop them. I like to point out that one-shot style transfer is already quite good. Let's see, Magnifique AI, for example. So cracking down on AI model creators isn't going to stop people from mimicking any art style with AI. And it shouldn't, because the style isn't copyrightable anyway. Only actual characters are. He is technically correct. You can't really copyright a style per se, but there are certainly things that can be trademarked. And also, when it comes to copyright, when you look at things like Mickey Mouse, I believe the only thing right now that is in the public domain from Mickey Mouse is the Steamboat Willie version. I believe if you try to do the modern Mickey Mouse, you're gonna get sued. And to my understanding, even like Spider-Man, one of the major reasons why Miles Morales exists is so that even when like Peter Parker falls into public domain, you still have someone that's acting as Spider-Man. So as long as it's Miles Morales as Spider-Man, you don't have to pay royalties to anybody. I think that's how the whole thing went. Could be mistaken. Someone explained it to me. I was probably drinking when they did. But this is what got the conversation started. In the art consuming world, just porky pig my way through this. Particularly in the comic book world, or if you go to Comic Con, if your style reeks of a well-established style, so let's say, probably the easiest one for me to just say right off the rip, like if my style looked just like Art Germ's or J. Scott Campbell's, what have you, it will repel fans of those artists, and I will get accused of stealing their style. Can I technically draw just like them? Yes, I can. There are many people that say that, I'm going to get them backwards. My dyslexia. A lot of people think that J. Scott Campbell actually ripped off another artist by drawing more of like the Disney style, bigger eyes on female characters, that he actually, I want to say Art Adams, or is it Adam Hughes? I can't remember. I actually had someone try to tell me this at my booth one day, that J. Scott was literally ripping off other artists. That's how cutthroat it can get in the comic book world. Now, when it comes to just general in the like if you're just cruising Facebook or whatever and you see some art, nobody's gonna care what it looks like. That's just how it is. You got to understand your market. In fact, there are some guys now that I think have, I don't want to say copied J. Scott Campbell's style, but they have definitely been influenced by him. That in my opinion, it looks like they're trying to draw as though they were J. Scott. Like they're trying to nail proportions and expressions and the looks and all that good stuff. And they sell covers. They are typically working more in the indie scene. They're getting a lot of work on the indie level. So there's that. But yeah. So as far as like copying a style, that's not really, I don't know. I'm not really worried about that. I think the big issue with the AI stuff is where they're sourcing their material. But this prompted a gentleman that if he ever wanted to have a conversation with me, I'm just a little guy, right? I'm a in the grand scheme of internet personalities, social media, profiles and stuff. I'm a little guy. I wouldn't mind talking to this guy. However, I don't know that I could tolerate to talk to him just because of how he whenever I've seen him debate, especially the AI thing on YouTube, uh, I don't like how he talks to people. But if he wanted to talk, if he won't come in, if he's watching right now, he can feel free to reach out and I'll give him a link and we can talk about it. But we're gonna talk about his response. Says this man is spit. This is Shad M. Brooks of Shadiversity fame. Says this man is spitting truth. And what I find funny is that most artists perform actually copyright infringement all the time in making fan arts. Guessing making fan art without a license is 100% copyright infringement, but then pretend to care about copyright when it threatens their livelihood. Even though in the case of AI duplicating art styles, no copyright infringement ever takes place, it is legally impossible to copyright an art style. This is what's going to just pull a string that's going to unfurl a sweater. I get asked from time to time with the fan art thing at shows what the issues are. Like, are you allowed to do it? Can you get sued for it? That sort of thing. I had a conversation with someone from Disney that had told me that technically most of what we do at conventions falls underneath parody law. And if you really wanted to, most cease and desists, you could probably fight because parody is very loosely defined. And especially Disney, their take on it now is that it having the fan art out there fuels the fandom. It scratches an itch that they can't necessarily scratch, especially when it comes to Comic Cons. Then it helps. It helps fuel the whole culture of the thing. And if they come in and they start smacking down little guys, it's going to look really bad. Now, if you go into Etsy, or if you go into these online shops, they don't know if you're an artist or if you're a sweatshop. So they'll start smacking people down. So I guess this is debatable. There are some companies that will allegedly guard their copyright material more closely. I've heard that Universal, with the Universal monsters, you got Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, on their own are public domain characters. However, Universal, the way that they depict them with Frankenstein having green skin, the flat top, the bolts in the neck, the little scar, combinations of those things, if you use them, could lead to copyright infringement. And if they wanted to, they could send you a cease and desist, and you might be able to fight it with parody. You probably can, but do you have the time or money to fight Universal? Do you? I don't. I barely have time or money to do what I'm currently doing, and I'm here doing it anyways. So it's like, choose your own adventure with that whole thing. But as far as copying a style goes, I think that's part of the fun with going to a Comic-Con is seeing people put their style, their twist on existing IPs, on existing characters, to get a different take on something that's still familiar. And you can do that with public domain stuff. Like you could do your take on like the 7 Deadly Sins or, the astrological signs or like tarot card decks. You put your own spin on all that, and it's all public domain, but it's familiar stuff. But where he launches into next is fantastic. Real quick, Ben says Disney also took a step back on little people and taking them down off of the internet after they got horrible publicity for suing a school because of something they made and didn't even try to sell. I think it was a daycare, if I remember correctly. It might have been a school. Um, but the Disney rep I talked to actually specifically brought up that case, that story gave them such a terrible black eye that they're like, yeah, we need to take a different approach to this. So yeah, they I have heard that I don't know the name of the company, the dudes that own Warhammer 40K, I've heard they guard their stuff. They've got it on lockdown. All right, so let's see. He launches into okay, so you're gonna probably see some triggering words in some of the stuff he says. He says a lot of bad stuff here. He launches into how he turns his drawings into AI art. And I will say SHAD does do, from what I've seen, way more to produce his images than what most people are doing. Most people are just doing prompts. He's giving feedback to the machine. So like he makes his drawing. Sometimes he literally uses like a 3D model from like a Blender or whatever, and will pose like a mannequin to get the pose just right. And then they'll hand draw certain things in. Really want the music on, but once he gets a rough image, then he'll start generating, and then he'll start adding details to the thing that was generated. I will say, yes, he does way more than the average bear when it comes to generating images. Most nobody is taking this kind of time or energy. Just whatever the prompt spits out, that's what you get. If you were working for a studio and you were asked to generate a bunch of concept art, you're probably not taking any of the steps that he is until they say, oh, we like number 7 out of 30 here. Take number 7 and give her longer braids or give her different kind of weapon. Then you would need to know how to edit the image like Shad did here, and how to use that program. So there are probably people in studios that are starting to do this kind of workflow. The problem is, when it comes to AI, is that because none of these elements are on different layers, simple things like, hey, can you change her hair to a different color, or can you change her shirt to a different color? You can try reprompting and doing that sort of thing. But it's kind of, I don't know. It's like guess and check. All right, this is where the internet implodes. I don't want to play the whole video, but this is the meme that he put up, and he said it's absolutely true. And he went super viral. Since Monday, I think. Studio Ghibli. He says the Ghibli art style is plain, uninspired, and the actual reasons people love it is because of the quality of stories the style has been attached to and the fluidity and details of the animations it appears in, not the style itself. I get that it has an innocent charm to it, hence the fun in depicting controversial images in it, because everyone's using this as a meme engine. But that does not make the style itself anything special when separated from those stories it's been used in and the quality of animation. Here's your problem if you're trying to argue with Shad, is that Shad is technically right. Because he's not having the same argument that you want to have. If you want to argue that, AI art is wrong or doesn't take skill or whatever, he's not arguing that. He's just saying that when it comes to an aesthetically pleasing picture, there are things that are way more aesthetically pleasing than what Ghibli is doing. People love Studio Ghibli because of the story and the animation itself. And is not technically wrong. However, it's like walking into any, pick your favorite establishment. You're having a good time, right? Let's say you went into Subway for lunch, You love Subway, you love getting a meatball sub, adding a little extra cheese on there, some green peppers, getting that sucker toasted, and then in comes this a-hole with a hornet's nest. He screams, there are better sandwiches, and then he just throws the hornet's nest into the middle of the Subway shop. That is effectively what SHAD does. This guy has learned how to agitate, still technically be right, and then take all the feedback of people screaming at him and turn it into more content. It's kind of a interesting feedback loop. Think of it this way. It's one thing to be a pro wrestler and have a solid career, like The Rock. I'm not an expert on The Rock, but I know for a long time he was they were trying to play him up to be like the good guy, right? Young guy, clean shaven, good build, excellent wrestler. And then once they're like, hey, what if we made him a bad guy? What if we made him a heel? That's where the term heel turn comes from. If I understand correctly. What if he makes a heel turn and instead of being a good guy, now he's suddenly a bad guy? And to my knowledge, from what I recall, that is when The Rock became sensational. By being a jerk to other people, by getting a reaction out of people loved him. And I can't say that's exactly what happened here, but it is an interesting internet phenomena where if you can launch into a point that no one's really backing and lob it at a widely beloved franchise or studio like Ghibli, you're gonna get a lot of reactions, and if you're technically right with what you're saying, you can content farm for days. So his statement here, the AI version looks better, and crying about it won't change that. A lot of people in the comments are going to be like, the one on the right looks like everything else. The one on the left has heart and style. It's like he's simply arguing that you can't make amazing pictures. Think of it this way. In animation, there's 24 frames in a second, right? So for every second of film, you need to have 24 images. And a lot of times, they're only drawing 12 images, and they're duplicating them to save time on drawing all that stuff. Because if you look at, I could not tell you who this character is, but to save time on drawing every single one of these details between their necklace or earrings or just her face alone, to save time, you're simplifying that drawing and then only drawing it 12 times per second instead of 24 times per second. If you're at 24 times per second, you'd have these really fluid animations. I guess what I'm saying here is the one on the right is not feasible. That if you were to paint that, if you were to draw the one on the right, that's going to take you hours, possibly days, depending on your workflow. So if you're going to do 12 of those for a second, 20 years from now, you might have an animation that will look amazing. So SHAD's not wrong. The image on the right does look better. He's having an argument that no one else is having. He's he's just LOL. I could have proven my point just as easily with examples from superior traditional art styles, but using AI art triggers so many people. It's hilarious because so many people think AI art is evil. It must never be acknowledged to have any quality at all, especially when compared to the sacred cow that is Ghibli. And don't get me wrong, I think many Ghibli films are great, and animation is superb. It's the art style itself I'm calling plain, but most people will ignore this because how dare you criticize Ghibli? I don't think anyone is having the argument that Ghibli is the pinnacle of art and style, and that there's no art better than the animation cells of their said films. So it's a weird argument to make to begin with. It'd be like saying that, your Subway sandwich. Yeah, a lot of people like Subway, but have you ever been to Morton's? You sit down, even their sandwich menu at Morton's. Now, I've never eaten at Morton's, but I imagine if they had a sandwich section, it's going to blow Subway out of the water. They're not going to have some fool like Jared hanging out at Morton's, right? Morton's knows better than to hire what would be a potential problematic individual to represent their sandwich solutions. Nor is Morton's trying to pose themselves as a weight loss solution format. So Morton's has a lot of good things going for it. So Morton's is better than Subway. No sane person would make this argument. But he does, and he does it for the rage engagement. Yeah. So what can we say about all this? What can we say? I think he's absolutely right. I have a hard time even watching him. I think that one day I might do. He's got a, I think it's like an hour-long dissertation as to why artists need to embrace AI technology. You guys will probably get sick of me rambling on about it pretty quick, but I think I've changed my mind. I think every artist should embrace AI technology. I think every artist should start off with a drawing, feed it into an AI machine, and whatever comes. You know what? Every artist should quit drawing because it takes time. They should just get good at prompting. And if you get good at prompting, just think about all the amazing artwork that you're going to be able to find at Artist Alley. I think every single artist should start doing this, because after all, AI is a tool, and if you're not using it, that would make you a fool, because that rhymes. I've got a video here I found a while ago, just because YouTube likes to feed me stuff, but I'm gonna share this tab instead. That's probably gonna launch it to a commercial.
As my own references. So today I just found this picture. It's kind of like this cool, weird clown jester type image. I just found it on the internet quick, just use it as an example, but it is a.
Can you guys hear that? This was recommended to me. This is how to use AI to create tattoos. This guy, we're not going to watch the whole video, but I find part of it really interesting. So all my artist friends, I encourage you to quit wasting time and start learning how to use AI. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it right here.
The photo I like. So I take this photo I have right here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this photo into ChatGPT. A lot of times when I'm looking for inspiration, I will go on Google, Pinterest, or the search engines, and I'll just find something kind of in reference to the design or the idea that the client had gave me for the day. So let's say they, want some kind of gesture thing.
We're going to assume you want some kind of gesture or something. Just think about it. Like, you want to go to Subway to get a sandwich, because we've been talking about Subway this whole time. Not a sponsor yet. But by golly, the amount of time it would take you to wash your face, put on some clothes, go down, get in your car, go to Subway, stand in line at Subway, which is kind of like going to the post office, wait for the sandwich artist. Oh my God, the amount of things are getting crossed right now. You're going to wait for the sandwich artist to call you up, say, "Sir, madam, what would you like today?" And then you are going to tell them what you want. And you're going to watch them as they, with great malaise, proceed to put these toppings on your sandwich. And they say, "Would you like that toasted?" And then you have the most critical decision of your day. Would you like this toasted? The answer is usually yes. But sometimes, it's hot out, it's sticky. Maybe you don't want it toasted. These are all decisions that you have to make seemingly on the fly. You might have thought about it a little bit. You might have been hankering for something, but now you see that you were thinking about getting a turkey sandwich and the turkey looks a little dry today. Now you're suddenly getting a meatball sandwich. Lots of variables here. How are you supposed to have this kind of time if you're busy drawing or painting? What if you've got paint all over your hands? Now you have to go to Subway. You're gonna wash your hands before you get in your car. Definitely gonna wash your hands before you eat.
Found an image I like on Pinterest. It's not my image. So now we're going to use this kind of as a base to recreate it. So we go back to.
It's not his image, but it is going to be a base on what he's going to create.
ChatGPT. We're going to upload into ChatGPT. So I'm going to upload that picture into ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, please, Mr. Robot, give me a Midjourney prompt that would recreate this picture.
I want to go back a little bit. I need to freeze frame this.
Recreate this picture.
All right. You should never, ever pay for AI art. So if you're on Kickstarter, there's a little disclaimer thing where they have to say if they used AI or not. There's a couple of folks that have been making waves because they are routinely making covers for their comics with AI art, and they're generating $25,000, $30,000 per project. And they do have other cover artists, but they humble brag that it is the AI cover that sells the most. So naturally, that's the one that they're using to promote their Kickstarter. Instead of paying money for that AI image, just use it as a base for what you want to create. So just go into ChatGPT, upload the image, type in, please, Mr. Robot, give me a prompt for Midjourney that would recreate this photo. This is great. I'm already learning so much, and I'm hungry for some Subway.
So now I've asked it to recreate this image with a prompt for Midjourney. So it said, here's the prompt, whatever. I just said, make this prompt 3 sentences. So now it gives me the clean prompt, and I'm going to copy that prompt.
So a Renaissance-style court jester wearing an ornate, richly detailed costume with patterns of gold, red, and cream. The jester has a unique hat adorned with dangling ornaments, a dramatic ruffled collar, and a mischievous smile. Rendered in a hyper-realistic classical art style with soft lighting and a neutral background, evoking the elegance of an old master painting. This is brilliant. By the time I would have even thought this sentence out, these 3 sentences, I'd be ordering what kind of cheese I want my sandwich.
And now I'm going to go over to Midjourney. So I use Midjourney through Discord. I know they have the website now. You can go on the website. It's a lot more user-friendly. Just by habit, I'm going to be doing this through Discord.
I'm probably going to get jumped the next time I go to a tattoo show.
But you can do the same thing on the website. So one way is we can just take the prompt that ChatGPT had given us. We can copy and paste that right in to Midjourney.
Holy smokes. He's got 4 images just like that. He put that in 5:21. A few minutes later, 4 images. This person thought they were getting 1 jester tattoo. They're getting 4 jester tattoos. It's wild stuff. So artists, you know what? I'm not even talking to artists right now. I'm talking to anybody. Instead of buying AI art, let's just start with that for now, because you should still buy regular art, like hand-drawn stuff. If you see something that is proclaimed to be generated by AI, then you should just load it in the ChatGPT, say, give me 3 sentences of what I would need to get this prompt in Midjourney. Now you got your choice. You got 4 images that are very similar to the original, and you just use that original picture that he doesn't own as a base to create. I think that's great.
Imagine, enter prompt. It'll give us, somewhat like the image, and we can tinker with it until we get an image we want. You can see the ones it gave me here. I think most of them look female. Some of them are cool. I kind of like closer.
Okay, you get the idea. That's a whole nother conversation if you want AI tattoos or not. I don't care what you do. Do whatever you want. I think that every artist should start doing this. Instead of making your own drawings that take forever, find a picture you like, use ChatGPT. Next thing you know, you've got some great images. And selfishly, the reason I want you to do this is because I have been making more money since AI came out than previously. Now, there may not be correlate. What is that? The causation does not equal correlation. I think that's the quote. But yeah, it's taking over, guys. It's taking over, and you don't even know it. That was when I was at I think it was Cleveland Tattoo. I think it was the last tattoo show I did. They were announcing over the loudspeaker that they were going to be doing a seminar this past weekend in Chicago. And the guy that was on the loudspeaker said, guys, whether you like it or not, AI is here. We have clients that want tattoos. It's time to embrace it. So you got to have that conversation with your tattoo artist. Like, are you using the best AI stuff? Or are you using like this free AI stuff? You should at least be using Midjourney if you're going to be doing it. Chances are, if your tattoo artist is using AI, they're probably just downloading stuff off of Google anyways. Because let's face it, if you're going to draw a picture, then you have to tattoo on somebody. I know how long it takes to draw a picture. Like I drew the Ninja Turtles again. Surprise. Each of those turtles takes me about 2 hours to fully render. 2 hours. That's just to draw it. If you're going to tattoo that, that's even longer. Let's say it takes the exact same time. Your client probably doesn't want to pay you the same amount for the drawing as they do the tattoo. That's probably how it goes. What's up, James? What's good, man? I did not send links out to anybody. Do you want a link to jump in here? So yeah, at the end of the day, I believe that I'm gonna hold a paintbrush when I say this for dramatic effect. Every artist should use AI. It is a tool, and if the tool can do all the work, why would you do the work? Much like Subway, why would I make a sandwich? Why would I make a sandwich when I can go to Subway and have them make it? It's kind of like Subway is a tool, and I can make more art if I'm not making sandwiches. And if I'm not making art and I'm not making sandwiches, I'm still eating and I'm still making money off my art. I feel like this is the best win-win scenario. This is what happens when I'm left to my own device. I think every artist should embrace AI, so that everyone's art kind of looks the same. Because here's the other problem with all these different styles. You have to like walk around. It's like, oh, I like that picture of Batman. Oh, I like that picture of Batman better. That one looks cooler. If they all just kind of look the same-ish, it makes your decision a lot easier. So I think that's the move. James, I'll send you the link here, buddy, if you want to jump in for a little bit. Let me make sure I'm not sharing stuff here. I'm gonna send it to your Instagram just because I have it open here. I'll talk to you about the old interview, see how things went, all that good stuff. I think this is how I share it. See if that gets you in there. So yeah, I don't know. All in all, I think that the AI bros that have been really pushing for people to start using AI, they just want you to use it so it's easier to roll over you. Because the people that have already embraced it, they're already on top. You got people that are trying to. I just think of like the NFT bros, right? NFT bros that were trying to get everybody to do that whole thing. Let's see here. I think I sent it to you, James. Let me know if that works for you. It should be at your Instagram. If you want to jump on, I'm sure you've been talking for a while. Oh, there we go. Folks, welcome James to the stage. James, welcome.
What's up?
Welcome, sir. How did the what channel were you on? Interview?
I was on K-pop Junkies channel.
I've heard of that. How'd it go?
It went good. Yeah, it went good.
Do you want to do a frame by frame what do you call that, EFAP? Every frame of pause?
Of the interview? No, I'm all right.
Yeah. Let's pull it up here. Let's see. What was it called again? K-pop Junkies?
Yeah, K-pop Junkie, Junki. It's K-pop _ Junki. It's very specific because otherwise you won't find it.
Well, there's another K-pop Junkie and it has 2 E's, and I think that's for literal K-pop.
Yeah, it's for actual K-pop. Yeah,
actual K-pop. James. My when I went down to Charlotte last, my brother pulled up one of my interviews that I did, and he was making me watch my own interview, and it was pure hell.
Yeah, that's so awkward. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it was a super fun show. I mean, we just chatted about the Kickstarter and stuff, and I actually got a Kickstarter while we were chatting, so that was great. Or a backer, I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, that was super awesome. We're almost at that. We're almost at that $1,000 goal, which is amazing.
That's awesome. Oh yeah. Very cool. I think I found that, but it's not giving me. Maybe I'm dumb.
It might have the process. I don't know how quick those usually are once they're after they're done being live.
Hey, streamed 10 minutes ago.
There you go. You found it. Okay.
Do you want to watch it?
That's up to you, man. If you really want to, we can. I can just reiterate everything if you'd like.
I don't know. I think I like the idea of watching you squirm a little bit.
Oh my goodness, you're ridiculous.
Guys, I'll put it in the link. You guys should definitely watch this later. We're not going to watch the whole thing tonight, but I do want to show off some of your. I was telling the chat at the beginning, I had your Kickstarter pulled up, and I didn't see any of, unless it was just too small to see on the screen. It didn't look like you had any your hand drawn cards on there.
Oh yeah, I know. I thought of that afterwards. I was like, you know what? But then Kickstarter has not let me change a single thing on it at all. I don't know what's going on.
Bastards.
Yeah, it's not. I'm trying to add an add-on, and it's like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, why? What's going on?
Yeah, guys, check out some of these hand drawn cards here. Like this Sam from Trick or Treat, dude. The lighting you got going on there, that is sick.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
There was another one that you'd shown me. Yeah, all these the fighting guys, those are all sick. What was the one? I think it was Electra. Was it Electra that you did?
Yeah. Yeah, we showed it at some point.
Can we get a Hong Kong Phooey versus Sub-Zero match?
Dude, that'd be sweet. I should do that as a commission. That'd be amazing.
That was
somebody commission one of us to do it, please. Or we should do we should do a mashup piece where you do one character and I'll do the other character. That'd be sweet.
If we were to ever do that, we would have to do it during the show because I barely have time to. I don't know why I'm embracing the paintbrush. This is my new talking stick.
There you go.
Barely have the time to do what I'm currently doing right now.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. There was a dude that had commissioned me a couple drawings. He's big on getting the autographs from the different voice actors.
Yeah, I like to do that too.
Well, I didn't realize how many of these guys have played multiple big name cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. He had me do for Cam Clark. It was Leonardo crossing swords with He-Man because apparently Cam Clark did voices for both of them.
Oh, nice.
I had no idea. But then he had me put in a word bubble that says something like "you sound familiar" or something like that. And they're both saying it at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah. It would be kind of cool to do some mashups like this. I don't know what the market desire for it is.
Yeah, mashups are interesting. I've had good success and zero success with some of them, so it's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like some are a no-brainer. I've got a buddy, Doc. I think it's Aaron Spangler, but he goes by Doc. Like all of his stuff is mashups, but the one that he sells like hotcakes, it's is it Squirtle? Is it the Pokemon Squirtle, the little like turtle guy?
Yeah.
It's them, but it's 4 of them as the Ninja Turtles. Sells like hotcakes, right? He has another one. It's like Red Dead Redemption, but it's like Red Dead and Eddie. So it's the Ed and Eddie, but as like cowboys. So he's got a few that are like bangers, but I feel like, you know, having a sense of humor in a place where people are trying to like make their decision as to what they're going to spend their $30 on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's something. It is something.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like people doing like Stitch mashups. Maybe it's the same guy I see everywhere, but I feel like I've seen that at a lot of different shows.
Well, there's one guy in particular that actually worked for Disney. That he does all of the Stitch artwork for like books, coloring books, like promo packaging and stuff. That's his gig. And he I forget his last name. It's Jonathan something or other. Jonathan. I feel like I'm making up his last name. I think is it Jonathan Edwards, maybe. But yeah, his whole booth is just Stitch. So
nice.
Take every fandom, and it'll have like Stitch's Deadpool, Stitch's Batman, Stitch's, you know, you name it. You write a document?
Oh, can you hear me typing? Is it really that loud? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix my Kickstarter. I'm sorry.
It's like, hey, by the way, can you hear that?
Sorry about that. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't think it was that loud. Maybe I must be on the wrong mic. My bad.
No, keyboards are just that loud. I have a buddy. His wife was a streamer.
Yeah.
And whenever we would play games, like we would be playing on Xbox, which are relatively quiet controllers.
Yeah.
She's on the PC. Oh my god, the whole time.
That's
guys.
Funny.
We gotta go. We gotta get on the ship. Are you writing a novel?
Wait. Is she saying what she's typing out loud? Because that's hilarious.
I mean, there are games that used to be like that. You had to be like, walk right, walk left.
Oh my god, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, it was something. The good old days. But yeah, here's an interesting take for you on I'm gonna close this screen, but you guys definitely check out James's Kickstarter. We showed that at the beginning. I shared a link to that too. But very interesting at the con at Richmond. I had a couple people say it. They said that I have the best deals on prints at the show from what they had been seeing. And I was like,
wow.
Now, granted, some of my deals are pretty aggressive for a reason, but walking around, the inflation has hit the comic convention scene.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been seeing this?
Sort of.
Yeah?
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's tough because it's tough for me, I guess, because it's like everybody prices their stuff differently. And like, if I've not met you before, I don't actually know how much you would usually price your stuff, regardless of, you know, the current economy or not. But yeah, I mean, I've decreased. Well, I've increased, but and decreased at the same time. I like, you know, kind of like you, I made better deals, right? But yeah.
So I eat less Oreos at a time, but I eat more Oreos throughout the day.
Okay.
So instead of sitting down with 6 Oreos, I eat 2 Oreos 5 times a day.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, you definitely eat more Oreos.
Love me some Oreos.
Yeah.
I would rather enjoy my Oreos throughout the day than all at once.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's what you're saying, but that's what I feel like you're saying.
Sure.
With or without the Oreos. You have a deal where you're charging less, but you're getting more because it's a deal. You're charging more, but getting less because it's a big
so
deal.
it's $20 a print, or you can get 4 for $40, right? It's like
it's a great deal.
Yeah, it's an amazing deal. Yeah,
it's a great deal. Buy 2, get 2 free.
Yeah, right.
Yes, your customer gets more art, you get more sales. It's a win-win.
Yes.
What if I told you? And it's none of my business what people are charging, right? Do whatever you want to do. If your customers see the value in it, it's absolutely worth it. But I'm seeing more and more people that are charging $40 or more per print.
Whoa. What?
Yeah. In fact, this was last year. I bought a print that was, so I charge $30 for mine, for one, and then I do a similar deal. It's 4 for $60. So it's buy 2, get 2 free. Someone was charging $30 a print, and they were printing it on what felt like wax paper, like super thin, like flimsy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super thin, like tissue print.
Probably like printing themselves with some shitty paper. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just an interesting. It's really got me rethinking. Because the price of everything is going up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play. Was it inside baseball? Outside baseball? I don't want to be letting all the cats out of the bag on this live stream, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I've been using the same pricing model for the last 2 years, and I feel like everything is ratcheting up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Are we missing the boat, James?
On raising our prices?
Or is the boat sailing off, and we're left on the dock just wondering what could have been?
I don't know, man, because I'll admit it's been a rough couple weeks for me with the shows.
Yeah, where were you at last?
So I was just at Syracuse. I was at Syracuse this last week, and I did not do what I consider like my minimum to go to a show. I did not hit that. However, I didn't have a hotel stay, right? So it was kind of like, it's a little more flexible, but it was still 2 hours of a drive.
Right.
Right. So I probably spent more on gas than I would have spent on a hotel stay for a single night. Which is like, okay, well, maybe I think about that next time. But I don't know. It's tough for me because it's like, well, yeah, shows have been very weird this year so far, I will admit, as far as like the audience and stuff. So I still get scoffed at for my prices.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because people see the metal pricing and that's something I need to work on, or if it's something else, but people are like, oh, $20 a print. Oh, $50 for a metal. Oh, you're like, okay. I'd like to think I'm pretty competitive. Especially with
right
metal.
now. Right now, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the metal prints, like the metal prints are in the same exact vein as if you would have gone to Discord or not Discord. What's that? A Displate and bought in some versus
links if you get it on Discord. You go on Discord.
Yeah.
You get some special deals on there.
Yeah.
Discord is
almost,
into like
the back alley.
Yeah. Totally gnarly. Yeah.
That's funny. So yeah, no, I don't know. It's been a weird year for me. I will admit that, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's good to be competitive, to stay competitive. I think that's a good thing when someone comes up to you and it's like, your prices are great compared to everybody else, because it means like they're gonna go tell you their friends, right? Be like, hey, you see that clown print over there? Steve or James, they got it, way cheaper over there. Go over there, right? Like, but again,
art's subjective though.
Yes, it is, right? So like, you could prefer someone's style over another person's style. I don't know. It's to me, prints are a weird one. And kind of like you said, we don't want to give away too much, but like,
I mean, I'm prepared to tell all.
Yeah, prints are not that expensive.
Yeah, they're not super expensive, but I tried explaining this to someone the other day. I used to do these big canvas prints. I would print them myself. But canvas material is not the cheapest, and I had to buy an expensive printer that showed up on a pallet to print them.
Yeah.
And twice I've had an entire roll of prints get destroyed. So I'd have like 15 to 20 in a roll, like in a box to take to a show. And when I'm driving, something shifts and that box gets crushed. And now I've literally ruined hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of product.
Yeah, that's rough.
So, yeah, like prints, they're not the most expensive thing to print, depending on how you do it. At the same time, that's your entire cash flow.
Yeah.
And the hotel doesn't pay for itself. The gas doesn't pay for itself. The booth didn't pay for itself. So those prints are doing a lot of heavy lifting. So I don't knock anybody for having a higher profit margin on there because you're not getting profit anywhere else.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you start doing keychains, you're getting a smaller profit margin. Same with stickers, all that stuff, t-shirts.
Unless you make them yourself.
There's your time though, right?
Yes.
It's like I'm doing these canvas fucking, pardon my French. So like these guys don't cost me much more to make than a regular print. The problem is it takes my time. And when I screw one up, like I screwed this one up, I couldn't tell you what I did wrong, but I know it's not done from the last time I did it. Then it's like I either have to sit there and take out every staple or just start on the next one, which yes, I can take out every staple, but my time.
Yeah.
I can do it right now, I guess, but that's not exciting. It's not exciting. So yeah, I don't know. It's I'm finding that having some more of the premium items like that has been helping out at shows. It definitely helped out at Richmond.
Yeah.
But that's also bigger investment, and then also having the space to haul that stuff around.
Yeah, there's a fine line there too, right? Like, yeah, and that's kind of what I've been noticing is like the smaller items, the profit margin isn't huge, so it's more difficult to like justify even bringing it. And I'm almost in the same vein with the larger metal prints. Like I have all the larger metal prints, and like if I don't move them, but I have to lug them around at every show. You know what I mean? Like that's
making damaged, all that stuff.
Yeah, it sucks. So, it's been an interesting year. I will say that.
This is why I fall back on if we just made AI art, right? We're not wasting all this time drawing. It's gonna look amazing.
Yeah, it'll look like everybody else, right?
You could probably put it on things like Redbubble.
Yeah.
And what's the t-shirt one? Is that Teespring?
Yeah.
We wouldn't even have to leave the house. Next thing you know, we're going down to Subway. We're getting sandwiches made. Yeah. We don't even have to make the sandwich. We just show up.
Yeah.
And life is good. I think I've got it figured out.
Yeah, man.
If I just don't have to do the thing that I'm professionally doing, I can maximize profit. Maximize my time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it just takes a couple prompts, man. You're good to go.
Yeah, you don't even have to think about the prompt. You just pull up an image that you like. Have ChatGPT tell you what to say in the prompt. This is really about as easy as it gets.
Yeah.
And it's the way of the future. If that's not the scariest thing, like it's already scary enough that, I should not judge how people raise their kids. I don't have kids, but like there's some iPad babies out there, right? That like that's all they've ever seen. And now we're interacting with them in the wild. They are now 18, 19, 20 showing up to Comic-Cons. Already seeing some challenges there with some of these kids. Imagine if they didn't have to ever think other than asking ChatGPT how to do this or how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe our job gets easier.
Well, yeah. So here's what I think, and this is what I'm telling myself to stay delusional, I guess.
Yeah. See you, Dave.
Later, Dave. The one thing that I tell myself to keep myself delusional is, as AI art continues to run rampant, all that does is make my physical art that I'm doing that much more valuable.
Yes.
Because you can't have a computer replicate that physically, at least yet. I'm sure some jerkbag will invent a robot that can draw, and probably, I think they kind of have that with the painting robot.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's going to be a stupid entry cost just to avoid actually doing the work yourself, right? Like, so it's going to be a null point.
Yeah, most people buying robots aren't buying them to paint stuff.
Right. Yeah, I'd rather buy a robot to fold my clothes.
Yeah, folding clothes. That's what I thought it was going to be. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Folding clothes robot.
Yes. Dude, it sounds insane, but when you've got 4 people in the house, man, it's a lot of clothes to fold.
A lot of folds. A lot of folds.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. And that's why I'm like, I'm almost retreating away from doing digital stuff now because of that reason. Not because of anything actually physically wrong with digital stuff, is the more physically available stuff I have, the more it is rare, right? Because you got too many of these AI prompters, and some of these artists, dude, it's just so funny. Like, to see some of these guys are like, if you want to be an artist, just do AI art and then like draw in the meantime until you get as good as you're gonna get with AI, versus AI. And it's like, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. Like, you can't just tell people this is my artwork while you're learning to draw that style, and then like all of a sudden you're drawing this like really awful drawing that looks nothing like the AI, and it's like, this changing brand like that. It's just not going to work, first off, and second off, you're giving yourself excuses to do something is unethical, right? It's not like it's going into everyone's hard drives and grabbing out all this stuff. But no, that's not what it's doing. But people are doing that for them. They're grabbing the stuff off the internet and plugging it into the machine, and it's storing that information.
It's a semantics thing, because it's not literally collaging photos together. What it's doing is turning millions, if not billions, of pictures into data.
Yeah.
And it's pulling that data into a mosaic of noise. And then it puts in what it thinks should be there based on the data.
Yeah.
So it's not a collage of pictures, it's a collage of data.
Yeah. So
there's that.
Yeah. It's just, people are I don't know what's going on with people. It's sad to see it continue to go that way, but yeah, I'm just going to continue to do my thing, and I will stay valuable.
It is interesting. So you can tell me about Syracuse, but if you walk through Artist Alley at Richmond GalaxyCon, the percent of people doing comic book artwork in actual Artist Alley versus the amount of people that are doing the keychain stickers, more aimed towards like that, you call it like the anime demographic, but it's not even anime. Some of it's more of like it's like a modern illustration style. I'm trying to think. I know a lot of people like to use it for like their D&D characters because it's kind of cutesy kind of thing. There's a lot of that stuff going on. So I don't know. I think we're at a pivotal point in in comic books in general, but then also Comic-Con artwork. Syracuse, what were you seeing in Artist Alley?
So Syracuse was an interesting one. Yeah, it was I didn't see a lot of like that kind of stuff. It was kind of weird. It was Pokemon cards. It was like 1 or 2 comic vendors. It was actually had artists there, which was nice. I was nowhere near the artist, which kind of was, I think, what hurt me a little bit. We also had some guys, super undercharging for commissions, which is outrageous, that they're doing that to themselves. And then like a lot of like crafty stuff, like crafting stuff, if that makes sense. Like what do they call those things? The knitted like beanies and stuff. Yeah, the crocheted animals and stuff. And those are cool. There was like 3 vendors that did that. And then there was like 5 vendors or 6 vendors that had 3D print stuff. And we're like, what is going on? So we were like almost competing in that sense. My wife was with that stuff. And then, yeah, it was a very weird show. I mean, it's still pretty new and it's still in its infancy. But it's something that I think worth mentioning is like, you know, you gotta, when you're setting up a show like that, you almost have to kind of be careful like where you're placing people. Like if you're gonna have 4 or 5 3D printers at a show, don't put them all within earshot of each other.
No.
You know what I mean? So it was a weird show. It was definitely a weird show. And I didn't get to walk the entire floor because apparently there was a ton of people I missed. I think I might have missed that whole back wall. Because it was a pretty big space. We were pretty spread out, which was nice for load in and load out. It was actually great for load in and load out because you just pull your car up to your booth, load out, load in, load out, and then pop out, which was awesome.
No.
It made load in and load out like only take an hour versus like 2 or 3.
I don't trust that whole driving inside the building thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it went a lot better than I expected, especially considering like it was weird because we were oddly like the last ones out. It only took us an hour to pack everything up, so that was kind of crazy. But yeah, it was a little bit of a kabobble. I will admit that because you're like, oh, you got somebody across me, and then you got people moving tables around.
Well, ever since the craziness that I saw in Memphis, where that dude accidentally didn't put his car in park, and then jumped in to try to slam on the brakes, and he accidentally slammed on the gas.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust people at all, especially at load in and load out. People aren't thinking right.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you need is inside the building. Someone accidentally didn't set their parking brake or something. And
oh, yeah,
their car was just rolling enough. And then they jump in to hit the brake and they hit the gas. Like,
yeah,
there's
scary.
a lot of room for stuff to go wrong quick.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So
I guess
paranoid.
Yeah, what is a good convenience could be a really big problem. That makes sense.
Yup. But yeah, I'm noticing the more that I do this that I think this, I keep calling this the year of attrition, but there's been a lot of people over the last year that are trying to get into conventions the cheap way. They're trying to get in to make a quick buck by doing something that they can. Now, granted, yes, I am making prints of my artwork, and hitting print is super easy to do. These people that are making like the sublimation to put on mugs, or they're using the laser wood burners and stuff. Like, it does take time to format all these things and to make your inventory. I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are relatively low skill. And I'm sure when you walk up to 3D printing booths, you can take a look at the files that have been ripped by everybody else that are already about as cookie cutter as it gets.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about that. And this is something that irks me a little bit is a lot of these guys come in, they're like, oh, I bought a 3D printer, it's pretty low entry. I could just go to Maker World or, some other print website and just download the file, hit print and, load my color up and I'm good to go. And sell these prints because it only cost me 10 cents to make, but I'll sell it for $2. Right. It's like, well, okay, there's a lot more to that than just setting your printer and then setting your price to just something that makes sense. There's like a lot of thought goes into this. If you want to be a business, you got to be a business. You got to have business sense. And I've explained this to several people, and this can be applied to the same thing with our art stuff, right? Is okay. So you have let's say a 3D print. Let's pretend it costs you $1. Okay. All right, well, we'll make it even. Pretend it costs you $5. You want to sell for 20. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's not awful. Okay. We got to think of everything that goes into it. It costs you $5 to make. So that's not all it costs. It costs you how much money to buy the printer to make it. Mm-hmm. It costs you how much wear and tear on that printer to make that. Then it also costs you, in some instances, like with our light boxes, it cost me about a dollar a light, and then it cost me $2.50 for the AC adapter, and then I have to charge at least double that to just print the next thing before I make a profit. You know what I'm saying? So then you have to have your profit margin. You got what are you paying yourself for the time and energy that it took to print that? I've met people that are doing the 3D print thing, and they're like, I still live in the basement with my mom, but I'm charging $1 a print here. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, well, something's not adding up, right? You know what I mean? Like, plus you're sitting in a room with all the fumes. It's probably not good for you either.
Yeah. Added perk to the job, man.
Yeah, you're just getting high off plastic all day. But
high on your own supply, buddy.
Yeah. But these are the things you got to think about. And then, like, how much did it cost you for your table? How much does it cost you to build your website? How are you factoring that into your sales? Stuff like that.
Yeah, like, most people aren't thinking about all that. They're thinking bare minimum, I charge this, it costs me this, and all the other added expenses get buried.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. Well, and then you wonder next year why you're like, I'm upside down, but I had to pay $5,000 in taxes. Oh, okay. Well, that's right.
Well, on top of that, it's like, I don't know. There was one convention that they had a bunch of us on a conference call to talk about load in and load out and all this stuff. And someone chimed in with like, are you guys running a special for parking or are we on our own? And said, there's no special for parking. You're on your own. And then someone else chimed in that the lot that used to be $20 is now $25. And you would have thought that $5 increase per day for 3 days would have bankrupted these people. The amount of people that could not believe that they were going to have to come up with $15 extra. Yeah.
Dude, and there's all that types of costs. And then like what happens if you lose some of your inventory? Like you said, you got to think about that.
Yep. So yeah, it got me thinking though. I'm like, there's from a marketing perspective, I feel like I get kind of settled in my game and I've got a good stride, and I'm like, maybe it's time to update. Maybe it is time. Nothing's getting cheaper.
Yeah.
Especially booths. Booths are not getting cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was getting ready for this weekend. I'm going to AwesomeCon in DC.
That'll be fun.
We'll see. Have you been to AwesomeCon?
I have not. I've seen awesome things. I will admit that.
It's a cool convention. Don't get me wrong, but like vending there tends to be several hoops to jump through, and they're not fun hoops.
Ooh, okay.
So we'll see about all that, but I think this is my most expensive booth of the year.
Ooh.
I want to say I think it's costing me something like $1,800 for this booth.
Are you getting like a crazy premium booth or a vendor booth, or?
It's a vendor booth, and I paid, I think it's like $200 extra to be in like the red carpet area.
Okay.
But after I did it, my gut is like I probably wasted money. I feel like most people when they come in, they don't want to buy the first thing they see. Yeah. Most people, they want to walk the floor, see what there is to see, experience the show. I call it the 70-yard line. I know that technically would be like the 30-yard line on the opposing side.
Yeah.
The 70-yard line into the field is where you want to be. At that point, people have walked most of the show, and if your stuff looks good enough, and you've got right prices and the right setup, people will be like, okay, I like this. I like this guy. This stuff's cool. I think it's time to start buying.
Yeah.
If you're too early in the show, people still want to walk. They still want to see. They don't want to miss out. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, I know. I've gotten that before. I've gotten both. I guess I've gotten both sides of that, where it's like, oh, I spent all my money already, and now it's too late. And I've also gotten, oh, well, we're just still making our rounds, and we'll be back, and they never come back.
They sent out the search party, the Amber Alerts. Like they said they were coming back.
They did. They said they're coming back.
There was 3 of them.
Come buy my stuff.
If you were going to kidnap 3 people, you would need at least like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's right.
Back? Are you back, Dave?
Yes, next week. Dave. I thought you left.
Yeah. That's why I started doing, they call it the Friday special. It's a very special name that I came up with, the Friday special.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's I think I'm going to start doing limited. Like, hey, for the first 20 people to buy something, you get a whatever for free.
Oh, there you go.
And that way they're like, if we want to take advantage, there could be 20 other a-holes out there that beat us to this deal. We don't want to miss out on this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll try that at AwesomeCon this weekend.
Yeah.
I might give that a shot.
There you go.
But I'm a little peeved though, James. You want to know why?
Uh-oh.
I'm a little peeved.
What happened?
So the canvas tiles that I've been printing, been doing pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So I ordered another roll of canvas while I was at the show last weekend. It said it would be here today.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, cutting it kind of close, but should be all right. Whoever Montel is that works at FedEx, for the life of me, Montel cannot find where I live.
That's
anytime, because I have a FedEx account and it'll tell you your driver name's probably made up, right?
Yeah.
Probably like Richie. Montel, whenever it gets listed as Montel being my driver, I can almost guarantee he cannot find my address, which it is a little tricky.
Yeah.
And he's just like, not today. Just next day that thing cannot be delivered. And it will go into this cycle of him not bringing me my package until I either A, tell him to drop it off at a pickup location.
Yeah.
Or B, it hits the weekend and there's a different driver that actually knows where I live. So
that sucks.
That's a long story to say I didn't get my roll of canvas today. Now, granted, all the things I really wanted to print, I had enough canvas left.
Oh, good.
We got through it. I wanted to print some extra just to be safe. So we will not be getting that. That's not happening. But I feel like if I can't get by with what I'm bringing to this show, then what am I doing? I've got plenty of stuff to sell.
Yeah, I had a similar issue. I ordered sketch card samples, right? I was like, oh, I'll do some holophile. I'll do like a special thing where I give it out to people, and then order more once, if it goes over well. So I ordered these, and let me know if what you think. What do you think is wrong with? What do you think is wrong with these cards?
It's kind of hard to see.
So they printed it the wrong way. So the holofoil is supposed to be on where the art is. It is not.
Oh, it kind of looks like there's holofoil on it.
Yeah, you're just
it's
seeing
probably just a reflection.
Yeah, you're just seeing the reflection. But yeah, they goofed. They goofed on the print. I even put in the instructions, and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, we missed that, and we'll send it." So now, I guess I was still giving away to people. I just told them that these are limited edition air variants. But hopefully I'll get the new ones next week. But it still sucks because now it's next week and I won't have the updated ones for the show. It is what it is.
That stinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when you talked to this company last. When did you talk to them last?
Yesterday.
I was going to say, it's possible that if you just say that you need it, you really needed it by X date, they might be able to next day it to you.
Yeah. I should have, but they had it shipped by the time I had already was going to respond. I was like, dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I know there's some, like, Pipe and Drape, the company that I use for the for my backdrop, pipeanddrape.com, not a sponsor. They failed to ship one of the major components to the Pipe and Drape, and that is the peg that the pipe nests in, so you can have it upright.
Yeah.
And there was already about. It was, again, FedEx couldn't find my address. Montel let me down.
Oh, that Montel guy.
So it took like 5 extra days for me to get the shipment. I take it to a show. It was literally like I got it the night before a show, right? Take it to the show, go to set it up. Don't have that peg.
Oh,
so contact the Pipe and Drape, and they literally next date it to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Not many companies will do that these days. Not many companies.
Well, it's not cheap.
Nope.
Say that.
Starts to make you think of what kind of markup they got on this Pipe and Drape situation, right?
Yeah, well, right. And that goes back to our running a business. You got to think of these things, right? Like, okay, how am I marking this up to if I have a problem with a customer and they want a new one, right? Yeah.
The reality of it is that most of the time you got an upset customer. If you can take care of them, they become your best customer.
Yeah.
And that's when you got to look them in their beady little eyes and be like, do I want you to be my best customer? Did I enjoy you being around?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm okay with a 1-star review from you. You know?
It's funny. It's funny you say that. One of I had a guy come up to my booth a year or two ago, and he was like, he really seemed interested in the artwork, but he was being very like particular about like each piece. Like he was looking at the metals, like, oh, has this one got a scratch on it, or like very closely. Like, and I get it. And he was just kind of being like a pain, and of course I didn't realize at the time, like, he was very interested in my work. Like, he was just very interested. He just wanted to make sure he got the best version of what I had available. And it turns out, man, a guy buys a commission for, or not original piece of art from me almost every other show.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, he's been my best customer since. He's bought some of my most major work I've done. So
there you go.
Yeah, and then of course there's that part of me that I always kick myself in the teeth because I never charge for my originals what I really should, and that's good. I think kind of circling back to that is definitely not missing the boat on that one. I'll be raising my prices.
Yeah, there's my brother said it once to me, and it made a lot of sense. At the same time, it wasn't as big a problem as I thought it was going to be. He said it's a lot easier to start high now than try to raise your prices later.
Yeah.
When I was first starting. And I'm like, there's certain things I can raise prices on. There's other things I can't. Like at the time, this is only 4 years ago. 4 years ago, if you were charging more than $20 a print at a show, it better be printed on like some fine giclée, fine linen Egyptian pearl paper, instead of the normal poster material stuff that we use. But yeah, it's like I think the biggest thing that I've taken away is people need to see what your max worth is.
Yeah, they
need to like, hey, yeah, we're going to play down here, but like I have a piece that I am charging, $2,000 for, $3,000 for, because I did put in X amount of hours. I've got a buddy that does hyper realistic pencil drawings, and he charges a premium for his prints. And I think he has every right to, because of the amount of time he's put into his stuff.
Yeah.
His originals, I mean, there's a couple guys. If you go to a convention, you see somebody selling hyper realistic pencil drawings that they have like 100 hours in.
Yeah.
You can spend 10 grand on that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, not for some of these guys, not often, but there's one in particular. I don't want to speak for him or out of turn. He'll actually go get his pencil drawings signed by the celebrities. So he's had like Scarlett Johansson sign his Black Widow one, like you name it, right? Yeah, like Margot Robbie signed one of his Harley Quinns.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some of these he's selling for like $20,000.
And I know what you're talking about.
It's a fairly regular sale. It's not every show, but it's a fairly regular thing.
Yeah.
And once you get that clientele base of people that buy $10,000 things, like, you know, we get excited about having a customer that routinely drops 100 or 200 bucks on us every show.
Yeah, right.
Imagine seeing the guy that drops 10 grand come walking up. Like,
yeah. Like, yeah, buddy, there's my friend. What's up?
Rub these palms together. Let's see what we got. Well, you thought the 10 grand one was good. Here's a 20 grand one that's fire, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a weird world we live in.
Yeah, it is.
There was one business guy I was listening to. He said, if you really want to be successful in your business, whatever your business is going to be, sell to rich people, because rich people always have money. And I'm like, he's not wrong.
Yeah, one show that I do, it's I would say a much higher income town, and it is my best show. Hands down, my best show.
There's a lot of truth to it. There's actually a show. I didn't find out about it until it was way too late this year, and I've been kind of keeping an eye to see if they're going to be doing it again next year. I don't see why they wouldn't, because they got a lot of good, positive praise from all people involved. The Original Art Expo.
Oh yeah, in Florida. Yeah,
you've heard about this.
Yeah. So that one's an interesting one. I don't know how many of the actual artists are there. It almost seems like art dealers more of than actual like artists. I could be wrong. I think I saw Dave Finch there on a video, but
yeah, they did have a few artists there for sure, because I know that there's a few people I follow that were there.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you who. But they were doing remarks, they were doing head sketches, but a lot of these people are people that are in the they do have dates. Oh, I need to jump on this sooner than later, I think, because it's a February show. I might have to jump on this.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You do it. Let me know how it goes. I definitely can't afford to fly out of Florida.
Oh, I would be driving.
I couldn't afford to drive out there either. I'll tell you that.
But yeah, Original Art Expo, February 20th to 22nd. I might have to jump on this. 3rd annual. The Doubletree by Hilton. That's like on that same stretch down there that I stayed at.
I guarantee they're going to quickly outgrow that.
So let's see. They've had, I don't know who some of these guys are. Actually, I don't know who most of these guys are. But yeah, they did have some art dealers down there. But I'm trying to remember who I did see.
I don't know any of these guys there.
Actually, as I'm going down.
There's Dave.
There you go. There's Dave. I can't remember who I saw was there. I don't know if it was Sora Sung, maybe.
Oh, Jay Lee. I know
Jay Lee. Mike McCone.
Kevin Nolan. Okay.
Yeah. So these are, to my knowledge, these are all
Oh.
people actually in the industry.
I've never seen Humberto Ramos. I like his style. He's interesting. Not what I imagined him looking like. That's funny.
Interesting.
Brian Stelfreeze.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Oh, Chrissy Zolo. Maybe that's who I saw. You know Chrissy?
No, I've never met her.
So she, number one, total sweetheart. Number two, she does a very Disney-esque sort of look.
Yeah.
But she's been working for Marvel and DC forever, doing official variant covers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like she's done for both Marvel and DC. She's done Halloween versions where it's almost like take Batman and Nightwing and all them, but make them kids with like trick or treat buckets. That's sort of the look.
That's cool.
Interesting. Can we apply to be in this? Watch footage. Yeah, sure. Let's watch some footage. There's Mr.
I
Finch.
work to and have known for years.
Dude, I've been chasing this dude forever, and I've not once met him yet.
I think more than San Diego, this has been such a great turnout.
Are you going to be at
Probably not.
Never mind. I was going to say he's been doing Motor City a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to get to Motor City. I thought there was once upon a time he was going to be at Steel City. I swore he had announced he was going to be at Steel City, and then he's never been there.
Yeah, he kind of makes the rounds. He shows up different places like Charlotte down there at Heroes Con. I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those shows where people are like, "Oh, have you worked for Marvel? Have you worked for DC? Top Cow, Image, anybody?
Yeah.
Dark Horse? No, you're a self-published working for, doing store variants. Forget it."
Yeah, that's the sad part is that our when we're comic artists, we're valued based on who we worked for and not how good our work is. It's
that's sort of the validation, right? It's like if you went and you played for the NBA or the NFL, like people know that you're good enough.
It is. Yeah.
But if you're the best at the backyard football, like
right. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Is this an auction? Or is that what they're doing here?
Probably, yeah.
Certainly looks like it. That's Heroes Con has had some controversy over there. Their auction. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know the full details.
Oh. Steel City does an auction, but they do it for charity.
Well, that was. So here's to my understanding, and this is something I don't want this to come back to bite me because I don't know. Talking about inside baseball, I don't know the inside baseball on this, right?
We need a segment spilling the tea.
Yeah, this is like, do I really need to have this recorded on YouTube? For the no offense to the one person watching right now, but I don't need to get canceled over one person watching me say this and having it permanently recorded, right? And I do appreciate the chat being here. So to my understanding, for years, the way that it worked was like Heroes is known for not having like movie celebrities and stuff, TV celebrities. It's all about comic industry.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they would do to offset their cost, because they are giving away so many tables and they're giving away so many accommodations, is that they would do an auction. So if you had a piece or two that you could give to the auction went to funding the show. So it was sort of like your way of contributing to your spot being there.
Yeah.
Some of the controversy would come up where you'd have some of these comic pros that they could sneeze out a head sketch and charge $700 for it, being expected to put up multi-$1,000 piece, and they're like, I could pay for a table before submitting a piece that I could sell for $3,000, $4,000. Yeah. So that was some of the controversy there. Not to mention, now we got more people in the chat watching. Like, what are they talking about? So apparently, from what I saw the last couple years, like I'd submitted some pieces for the auction, and they would let you choose whether you wanted to support the show or support like the local. I don't know if it's like the local children's hospital or like a local cause, right?
That's cool.
Because I think there was some controversy that some people had thought that they were donating to a cause, and then they found out it was just going to the show. Yeah. And it's like, well, you don't have a convention if you don't have money to pay for the convention.
Right.
And Heroes, don't get me wrong, Heroes is a very good show. It does not get the most foot traffic because they aren't bringing in movie celebrities. Yeah. Like if they paid a little extra and they had, I just trying to think of someone off the top of my head, someone that makes a lot of rounds. Like if they had like, we got the cast of the original Power Rangers, or we have whoever, they would probably pull in a lot more people. Yeah. But that's not what that show's about. So it's interesting. So I'm kind of curious what this auction looks like and what it's all about. I don't know. One of the things I look for, though, when I'm watching these videos is like how many people are in the background.
Yeah, right. How busy is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like the videos I've watched from like other people doing it, it's like it's mild busy, like
Yeah.
a small show busy, not like
Yeah.
a huge show busy. But I think the quality of buyers is higher because
Yeah.
it is exhibited as a original art. Oh, Greg Land, great.
I know these guys. I know these guys right here.
Oh yeah,
And
Who's
that's Val, and I think that's his wife. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, Val's wife.
She's watching right now. She's like, God dang.
She's one of the few people that just jumped on recently. She's like, I directly work for a Heroes convention. I'm going to report to them. And
You're canceled.
forever.
Canceled.
Hold on, let's go back to that wide shot.
Yeah. I think the quality of buyers is probably a lot higher. And I think there definitely looks like there's room to expand that though. Wow.
Yeah, and this is one you gotta have deep pockets to come to it. And it's like it's in February, and a few weeks later you're gonna have MegaCon, where you're gonna have infinitely more artists and art to buy. That's a tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting one. I'd want to actually hear from some people that were there. There's a couple that has a YouTube channel where they go to cons and they try to find all kinds of unique artwork and stuff. And it's funny because they were at MegaCon and they stopped and they had a full conversation in front of my booth. Nothing to do with my booth.
That's funny.
And I'm like, if you would have went 6 feet that way,
yeah,
I had all kinds of original art.
That's hilarious.
But I'm not on Pro Row, so there's that. Let's see. Oh, it's Tony Moy. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's cool. I wish I had a chance to talk to him at Biltmore. I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
There's Adam Hughes. There's a hand-drawn sketch cover. Freaking Transformers. They're hard to draw. They're not hard to draw. They're time-consuming. That's a decent crowd.
I will tell you, they are in demand right now.
They've been hot, man. Them and G.I. Joe.
Yeah. We just, you know what? It's funny you say that. We have a G.I. Joe light box that it never sells. Yeah, that was the first thing it sold. This show. It was so weird. It was such a weird show.
So there is, I heard somebody talking about this, and I'm thinking there might be some credence to it. They made a comment that the reason why the Transformers comic books and the G.I. Joe comic books are popping off right now is because of the convention scene. So one of the things that, as far as booths that are still going strong, are the retro collectible toys. And these guys will show up and, maybe they find a piece to round out their collection, the thing that they've been looking for. But they walk in the show with $500 and they only spend $100. What else are they going to spend their money on, right?
Yeah.
So what apparently many of them are saying is these toy the toy shops are saying that the guys are looking for artwork to put up next to or behind the toys. So if you've got G.I. Joe stuff and you can get your favorite character on a comic book graded and get that slab behind that figure, or a picture of the vehicle behind the vehicle that you collected, that's what's really driving those two properties. And to put closely behind that, like Thundercats, that's been doing pretty well too. Kind of makes me wonder, like, if there's more of those retro toys that if their comic franchises pop off, if they're going to be the next big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like people are really interested right now in nostalgic stuff.
Oh yeah. No, that's an ongoing one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I find strange because it's like, that's not me at all.
Yeah, I know. I'm I mean,
Like,
I'm kind of the same way, but it's so funny. It's so funny, like, cause like, how many times my wife's asked me, like, well, what would you like to do? And I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't like, I like what I like, and I've already done that.
yeah,
So like anything else that I make now, I have to like kind of force the fandom or whatever. Not to say they won't be good pieces, but it's like I don't, I like doing the sketch cards. I don't like collecting the sketch cards. I don't,
right.
you know what I mean? So I don't have that viewpoint of like what really draws a person to what my cards, other than obviously the art, I guess. But like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's funny. It's interesting.
Yeah. I have people come up and you get this too all the time, I'm sure. Is that people walk up and like, what's your favorite piece?
Yeah.
And it kind of hurts my head because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like drawing stuff. The stuff up here is stuff that I wanted to draw.
Yeah.
Or was interested in drawing, but most of it I don't really keep up with. Like, I had
Yeah.
several shows in a row where the dude that played Master Chief, he was signing. So I went from like selling no Master Chiefs forever to selling out for a couple shows. And I haven't played Halo in probably 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
I did download a recent Ninja Turtles game. Just because I like forced myself to take breaks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to like recharge. I need to not think about something for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like, I don't act it. And I only downloaded it because I'm like, I don't know what else to play right now. And it looked entertaining. So like, I'm not into horror. I've got a whole wall of horror prints. I don't watch horror. I don't know. This kid's got some sketch cards though. Look at this.
Yeah, I see that. I was just checking it out. And look
Got a
at
little
it.
Iron Man,
So,
War Machine.
so this dad is taking him to the show to buy some art, and this is like how he's getting them in, right?
Little Spider-Man.
Hell yeah. And that's kind of like that's kind of the draw to sketch cards, for a multitude of reasons, right? It's like you can actually kind of afford to get stuff from people that you would like to get art from, because otherwise they're big stuffs, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever. But like the sketch card, most of these guys aren't going to charge more than $200 for a sketch card. That's just ridiculous.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you never know how much detail they'll put in it. It could just be a sketch. It could be a full-on doodle, right?
And some of these look like these guys are doing them on the spot. The ones that like to Harper or whatever this kid's name is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he drew that in after the fact.
Yeah, and that's something I think once I do my Kickstarter set, that's like something I'm gonna adjust my table for some of these shows, because I'm gonna be switching over to doing like more sketch card stuff.
Well, there's a dude that I don't talking about like copyright and legality, right? I don't know how much he's allowed to do what he's doing, if he's allowed to do it at all, but he's making his own Pokemon cards. They look and feel just like Pokemon cards. Now, the copyright issue is on the back. It does say Pokemon. On the front, though, or like the playing side, he's taking characters from other franchises and giving them different like spells or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's building out Pokemon cards, and he says they're selling like hotcakes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a clever idea. I was thinking about that. Like designing my own Magic cards or something. That'd be kind of sweet.
I feel like if anyone's gonna shut you down, it's gonna be Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Pokemon is directly owned by Nintendo or somebody else, but
that's a good question. That's a good question. I feel like they are sort of owned by Nintendo. Sort of.
Yeah. No idea. But I don't know. I'm kind of with hindsight 2020. I wish I would have launched this year with the trading card Kickstarter. Number one, I already have enough stuff to put together a trading card thing, period. Like, and just launch it and go. But two, that gives me inventory for most of the year.
Yeah.
And now it's like Alice is doing very well. And that's good.
Hell yeah.
But I'm like, I want to do Dark Side. I'm halfway through inking Dark Side.
Where's that Kickstarter at?
I'm probably gonna launch it in June. Last year I launched it May 4th to like shove it in Star Wars face. Right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, do it again.
I will not.
Perfect.
I will not have started fulfilling Alice by May 4th.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want to be doing too much all at once.
Yeah. And there's part of me that's like, well, I could set it up as like, I don't like doing more than 30 days.
Yeah.
But I know how it is. There's a lot of people that don't want to back another Kickstarter until they've received their stuff.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. So it's like target launch for that one's going to be June. So then I got to get Slaughter Dolls done. I'm halfway through penciling that. So I still got to ink that and color that. It's just like me going through in my mind, like all the things I have to do. I'm probably not going to be able to launch that till September. And I wanted to do, at this point, it's like, well, it's too late to do a trading card Kickstarter. Because at that
on your plate.
Yeah, at that point, the year's done. And it's like, it would be one of the easier ones to do. I already have a bunch of these cards already formatted. It would just be make the Kickstarter template, launch it, and then fulfill it.
Yeah.
And I could probably do it without any of like the commission stuff and just be like, hey, do you want to back it or no? Here you go. So, and then at the end of the year, I kind of want to try a calendar Kickstarter. And I would need to launch that. I would need to launch it in October at the very latest. So it's like I got too much stuff. I'm doing too much.
Yeah. Yep, I feel you. I know I'm still in the writing phase for my next project, but once this is done and fulfilled, I got a couple things I got to do for it, and then it's just get it all printed, shipped out, which would be the fun part.
I have a friend making proxy magic cards with his art, and they are selling very well for him. It's a very popular market. The big thing is don't use their logos for the back and sell as proxy.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially considering they just that's completely right up my alley right now because they just came out with that Marvel set. So I could do like an expansive proxy Marvel set, right?
How expansive is it?
What do you mean?
Sorry. There's this dude that was trolling this wedding venue. And they said, check out our expansive banquet hall. And he just responded back with, how expansive is it? And they kept responding back like, we have very affordable budgets for everybody. He's like, yes, but how expansive is it?
Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
Sorry I derailed you.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, that'd be sweet. That'd be fun. That would just be a fun project to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. My problem right now is I have too much on my table.
Yeah. I mean, you got an actual life at home and job and trying to do everything else too.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot.
It is. And speaking of that, I have to pop off for the night. But I appreciate you having me on, boss.
Yes. Well, guys, before our friend James rolls out here real quick, we're just going to share it one more time. Let's see here. Share this tab instead. So this is James Kickstarter. James, you're almost at 1,000.
I am. I'm so excited.
You're like one backer away, one or two backers away. So guys, if you haven't, please check out the art. I'm saying it wrong. I'm trying to push buttons and say things. Trading card art of Sketching the Beast, Volume 1. I'm posting it in the chat right now. Guys, please check him out. Give him a follow. Back that project today. James, thanks for hanging out, buddy. I'm going to get off here myself in here in a second.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Yep. See ya.
Peace.
So yeah, I don't know, guys. I got a lot that I'm working on, a lot I'm trying to do. I'm very excited about Slaughter Dolls 3. I'm not gonna be able to pull any of those pages over here to show you, but think I'm going to do it a little bit different this time. So I've been doing pencils with traditional inks, and I think this time around I'm going to be doing digital inks, because if you digitally ink, it's a lot easier to digitally color. So I'm going to be giving that a shot this time, I think. And the quality is only going to be better than what you've seen before. And I feel like already just the pencils that I've done, this is already some of the best artwork that I'm putting into a book. I feel like every time I sit down and work on pages for the next thing that I'm working on, the layouts are getting even better. The artwork's getting even stronger. I'm putting in the time on the backgrounds, like for Dark Side. This next one, it's like the amount of mileage my pen is getting, drawing in all the little details. I'm very happy with how it's going. It was stuff in the past that used to like give me anxiety thinking about having to draw all those little lines in there. And now it's like I've hit this sort of groove where like it feels good putting in those details. And I know most people aren't even going to look at it. But if they do, they're going to be pleasantly surprised with how much detail's in there and how much it kind of just adds to the scene. It is strange. Like I've had this conversation before, but even like looking around my room, I have some like limited edition prints, limited run prints, that sort of thing that I paid a lot of money for, that I see every day when I'm in the studio. But even if they were like regular prints, like I do have some regular prints in my house that cost me like maybe $20, $30, something like that, that I also see every day. I have comics that I have bought for like 30 or $40 that I've never opened. And there are people out there that routinely collect comics for 30 or $40 that they never open. But the artwork inside those books and the quality of the story inside those books gets graded much harder than any of those prints hanging on the wall. I drew that one. I drew that one right there. So what do you make of all that? I don't know. But this year's turned out to be a banger so far. I was looking at the numbers. So I feel like I've been working my tail off, and I've been reinvesting quite a bit. And you guys have heard me say it before, but this is going to be a year of attrition. A lot of the people that are coming in sort of as hobbyists that are like, maybe I could turn this into a thing, we're going to see a lot of those people get weeded out just because how tough the market is going to be this year. And how much the cost is going up for some of these tables. Like Artist Alley at some of these places where it used to be like $150, $200 tops. There are some Artist Alley tables that are going up to like $350, $400. When you add in a hotel, travel cost, and everything else, there's going to be a lot of people that just drop out because it's a lot. And if you're trying to make money, if you're trying to pay bills on this, it gets scary. So that's coming into this year, man. It has really been that mentality of I have to be the main show. I can't just be like, Steam Messenger art back here. Like, I hope I make some money. Hope I get your business. No, it's like I need to be the big show. I need to be the guy that you see the booth and you see my art and you talk to me and you're like, of course I have to buy something from this guy. Yeah, I might walk around and go check out the rest of the show, but before I leave, I need to get that thing from Steve. So that's been the mentality. And I think everybody, whether you're selling prints, if you're selling merchandise, laser engraved stuff, trading cards, whatever it's going to be, like, this is not the year to be complacent. This is the year to say, what do I need to do? Even if it's adding a banner or if it's adding a tablecloth or if it's any little thing that you can do to make your booth pop just a little bit more, I think this is the year to do it. Now, I do have to figure out from a Kickstarter perspective where I'm going to be spending my time. Dark Side is halfway done. I just need to get it done. I have the pages are actually loaded up to take to the show. That's really what I need to be working on when I have downtime. I got half a page inked. Well, we'll say 2/3 of a page inked when I was at Richmond. But I ended up drawing a bunch of other pictures that had nothing to do with Darkside. Mainly because that's like what I wanted to do. And sometimes you got to feed your soul, right? As a creative person, like sometimes you just got to do the thing that you want to do, but you got to have that discipline to work on the things that need to get done. And Darkside is one of those things. Because it's what? It's April already? God, it's April already. Got 30 days in April. After this weekend, I have no shows until the beginning of May. So I have effectively 3 full weeks to get stuff done. So I have 15-ish more pages to ink. So if I do 2 pages a day, let's see, 2 pages a day, 15, I'll definitely have it inked. I'm trying to think coloring wise. I could probably have it colored by mid-May, would be my guess. And then put together the Kickstarter and launch that in June. We'll be good to go. So I don't know. April is like the get stuff done month. I'm gonna need a couple of days in April to like finalize all the stuff for Alice, because the Kickstarter wraps up this weekend. So when I get home, I'm gonna have to like format everything, send stuff off to the printers, all that good stuff. Then I literally see it as like 2 to 3 months from the time the Kickstarter launches to the time it's fulfilled. So if we do go June, July, August, that's Darkside, and do September, October, November, that's Slaughter Dolls. I would need to launch the calendar if I'm going to do a calendar. Maybe I just don't do a calendar. I don't know. It'd be a quick one. I could do a calendar plus trading cards Kickstarter. Is that a thing? I don't know. But by then, the year's up. To be fair, if I wanted to sell trading cards at the shows this year, there's literally no room on the table to sell them. So maybe it's okay that I'm not doing trading cards right now. I don't know. But Awesome Con is this weekend. I think it'll be a good time. I am sweating it a little bit. To give you an idea, some shows, I'm going to talk with the paintbrush again. I feel more official when I have something to point at the camera with. Load in is actually kind of nice. So when you pull into the dock, they have targeted load time. So your section is supposed to be there during certain times. You pull in, they bring you a pallet to your vehicle, and you tell them your booth number, which I actually need to look that up. You load everything onto a pallet, and then they take that to your booth, and then you get the heck out of the dock. The problem is loading out, and this is what this is what I will spend all weekend dreading. So when you finish up at most shows, you pack up your booth, you throw it on a cart, maybe take your car to the loading dock, and then you wheel your cart out there and you load up and you leave. Sometimes you just push the cart out of the building to the parking lot, load up there. The challenge with loading out, if you've never been there for a show when this happens, is that loading in, you have people showing up Wednesday to load in, Thursday to load in, Friday morning to load in. It's stretched out over 3 days. Loading out, everybody is trying to leave at the exact same time. And last time they had this rule at Awesome Con that you cannot go to the loading dock until you got a dock pass, which makes sense. They want to make sure you're actually tore down, so you're not wasting everybody's time and holding up a spot in the dock while you tear down your stuff. They want to make sure it's already torn down. The problem is And again, it's not really a problem. It's just a feature, I guess, is that when they hand you this pass, they will also give you a targeted load out time, from what I recall. This might have changed. But they might say that, hey, we don't even want you lining up until 7:30, 7:45, what have you. So that's a thing. To offset that, you could put all your stuff on your cart, push it outside, and push it to your vehicle. Last time, the closest parking that I could find was a couple blocks away. And the fun thing about Washington is that it was built pretty early on in the history of America. And as time has gone on, some things get updated, some things don't. And some of the things that don't get updated that much are the sidewalks that are made of brick. So if you've ever tried to push a cart of literally anything, as soon as you hit any kind of bump, everything on the cart shifts a little bit, sometimes a lot, depending on how big the bump is or how unstable the load is, right? So imagine now that your entire sidewalk that you're pushing down is nothing but bumps. You can't make it more. I should have bought more bungee cords. That's what I forgot to get. You can't make it more than, I don't know, 10, 15 feet before you have to stop and readjust everything on your cart. Otherwise, you end up losing half of your stuff on the streets of DC, which happened to me last time. It wasn't fun. A lot of cussing. And last time, I think I was able to load out with just one cart. Unless I sell everything. And not literally everything, but unless I sell a ton of stuff, I really don't think that I really don't think I'm gonna make it a one car load. I just don't think it's possible. So we'll see. I guess that's a problem for future Steve to worry about. I think I just need to enjoy the weekend, knowing that I've got like 3 weeks of no travel. Bus tail this weekend, sell as much as I can, and then I'm gonna set up some whatnot streams. I'm gonna do a couple whatnot streams through April just to pad the numbers a little bit. I'll be getting some Kickstarter money in, but virtually all that money's already spent on the books. So, yeah, I got a lot of work to do, but Dark Side's looking really good, and the way the book ends, I'm learning as a story writer when it comes to comics in particular, when it comes to indie comics, like sometimes, like if somebody's gonna get hurt, maybe you just need to make them die. Because this whole like, are they gonna make it? Are they gonna be okay? Well, like, not gonna get the book for another year. In a year, is anybody gonna care? Maybe. But if you got a character that instead of wounding somebody, they in cold blood just kill them, it says a lot more about that character. And when that book comes back around, you know more about that character based on their actions. So I'm getting a little bit more, in ways, brutal with my storytelling. Like we're not half-assing certain things. Like if something's going to happen, it's going to freaking happen. We're not just going to be like, oh, maybe this could happen, maybe that could happen. Be like, no, it's happening. We're getting out the metal chair. Someone's going to get suplexed onto it, and they're never going to be able to walk again. That's not the story of Darkseid. Darkseid isn't a wrestling story. No, but Darkseid in particular, I've had enough people this year. I'm going to be blunt. It is my least selling Kickstarter that I've ran. But at shows, it sells well. Like I sell enough books to keep it going, right? So yeah, again, just being very blunt with you guys, I am more excited to be working on Slaughter Dolls 3 which is why there's 15 pages already penciled when I still have 15 more pages to ink on Dark Side. But I know I've got an audience with Dark Side. I know there's more room for it to go. I need to stay committed to getting it done. Slaughter Dolls, I'm equally excited, more so excited to see where it goes. I've got the story for this sort of 3-part arc written, and it can branch off different ways. Very excited about that. Alice, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on the 9-page preview. Black Kitty is another one. That's another book I'm working on. That one, I've got a lot of positive feedback on the art. I'm kind of at the point where it's like, I need the Kickstarters to start hitting higher sales numbers so I can start paying other people to do some of the heavy lifting with the inking or the coloring or what have you. And I know that there's people out there that would be interested in doing that. So it's a lot to figure out. It's a lot to do. Everything's a lot. I traded a very full-time career where I was working ungodly hours for an all-the-time job. But I enjoy it. And it's funny. I was just thinking about this. Was it today? It might have been today. We'll just say it was today. It doesn't matter when I was thinking about it. I was thinking about this like when I was working for the company. I've been with this company for like 20 years, right? Started with them in high school, climbed the corporate ladder, all the good stuff. Is that my mentality when I was with them was I just have to prove that I can do a really good job for 2 to 3 years. And then I'll get promoted. Because if you can prove that you can do a good job for 2 to 3 years, they did such a good job of like promoting people and moving people and all that good stuff. And the company was always growing. That's like, hey, if you're just around for a couple of years and you didn't suck at your job, chances are there was a position they could promote you to. So that was my mentality. It's just like, do everything you can, work the ungodly hours, do all the things that they ask of you, plus more. And that promotion's almost guaranteed. And this, it's like I'm in year 4 now, 4 solid years of doing this full time. And there's no part of me that's like, how do I get promoted? It's like, how do I make what I'm doing even better? How do I make my comic books even better? How do I make my booth even better? How do I make the actual physical products that my customers are buying even better? That's been my mentality. And it's really weird to think. I was just thinking there's a buddy of mine, a guy that actually replaced me when I left. I trained him, and he's a solid dude that took my position when I left. He and I would occasionally go grab dinner, grab some beers or whatever, and just kind of, BS for a minute or two. And I think it's been a year and a half since I've seen him. I think it's been a year and a half since we met up. We've texted here and there, whatever. But I know how that life is. That's a very full-time job. And when you're not working it, you're spending it with family, doing all the family stuff and all that good stuff. And I am in a very full-time thing. So that's just the natural drift that you have. Like there's certain people that you don't know when it's going to be the last time you see them again, or exactly like the day you leave a company, like I'm never going to see you, or you ever again, unless it's at a gas station or a grocery store. So it's weird to think. I've been meaning to catch up with him. There's a lot of people I've wanted to catch up with. But it's like when I'm home, I'm only home for a few days usually, right? It's get home from a show. Monday, I forced myself to, I don't work in the morning unless there's something absolutely pressing. It's rest, recover, eat lunch, plan on passing out in the afternoon just because I'm still whooped. And then that evening, I'll start penciling stuff. Tuesday is like get stuff done. Wednesday is usually last minute trip to grocery store. And then also like today is put together a bunch of canvases, because I know that that's not something I can just print at the show. That's not something I can have shipped to me. That's something that I have to physically do. So like this morning was put together 20 canvases, more than 20 canvases. So yeah, it's weird. It's like you get busy doing what you're doing, and next thing you know, it's like 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later. And I don't know, like if I went back to me when I was like 17, 18 and told myself this, I don't know that I would have done things differently. And it's weird because it's like, you know, there's a lot of life decisions I did make, and a lot of decisions I just didn't make, and not making a decision is making a decision. But this is like the first time in my life that I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. In talking with a buddy of mine, I kind of wondered if I just discovered Comic Cons earlier on and found out that I could make good money doing cons, if I would have had a different trajectory if I had started doing that when I was like 20. And he said that probably the best thing I could have heard at the time, and it stuck with me. And it makes honestly makes a lot of sense, hindsight. And he said, Steve, you can't think like that. You were where you were for a reason, and you are where you are now for a reason. It's not fair to go back and think about what you could have done, what you should have done. That's where you were. You're a different person now. You gotta flow with it. It's like, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. So, I don't know if I'm going to share the entirety of this or not, but there was a motivational speaker I was listening to that he's not a full-time motivational speaker. He does some interesting side work. I'm not going to get into all that, but he said there's 3 things that he talks to when he's meeting with his clients. So there's 3 things that will make you successful. And you or whoever you're working with need to be aligned on this. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I'm probably going to butcher it, but he said, what is your intention? Like, what do you intend to do? What is your attention to detail? So what all needs to be done, and what is your expectation of outcome? So intention, attention, and expectation. And if you don't expect much, don't be disappointed when not much happens. So if you expect that you're going to be the penultimate artist or vendor or whatever, then how are you going to get there, and how do you intend to do it? And I think, when I talk to people, I kind of work backwards. Is what do you want to do, right? What do you want to do with your life? How do you picture yourself living your life? Are you coming home from work and there's kids and a dog and you're going on vacation this weekend, so you're packing your bags? How do you picture that, and then work backwards from there? So what is your expectation? How do you intend to accomplish that? And specifically, what details need to be attended to make that happen? It's kind of been a game changer. And, like coming into this year, this setup that I've got, who's going to pull it up? But chances are, if you're watching me, you've seen my setup. I have probably spent, maybe over the last 4 years, maybe around $1,000 on displays and backdrops and banners and that sort of thing. And I had a working, serviceable backdrop mid to late 2024. And after listening to this guy and hearing him talk about, your expectation of outcome and everything else. That's when I kind of made up my mind. I'm like, if I'm going to achieve these things, how am I going to do it? And I'm tired of like feeling like I have to like duct tape my booth together to make things work. I want it to look great. And since I've done that, I think I spent another on just the pipe and drape. Well, just pipe, I guess, for my backdrop. I think I spent $1,200 total. Well, probably more than that once you add lighting and stuff. So let's call it $1,500. It's probably what I spent on all that. And I've had several shows now where I've made that and more on top of what I was making before. And it's like, it just kind of shows, I don't know, it's a Mr. Beast mentality of like reinvest in your business. But don't just reinvest for the sake of reinvesting. Like, what is your direction? What is your goal? And what do you want to be? And if you just want to pay the bills and not work a real job and, you know, get by not having to do anything more than you feel like doing so you can just get by, and then like, yeah, you could probably skim by at Comic Cons. But the reality of it is that within 2 to 3 years, the cost of these booths is probably going to go up around $200. It's going to be my guess. So $200 of your profit is just gone. On top of that, look at your hotels. So unless you're going to stay in increasingly worse hotels, what are you doing? And I think that is what we as artists and vendors in this space need to think about is, if we're going to survive this year of attrition, it's not going to get easier. We're just going to have less of the familiar faces around us at the end of it. There's going to be a lot of people that get weeded out because they don't want to deal with the rising costs. They'd rather not have to worry about it. They'd rather go work for a company where you just come in and do your thing and you get paid and you go home. If you are looking to build your brand and you're looking to build your empire, what do you want it to look like? How do you need to get it done? And what's holding you back? And I think that has been the number one thing that I ask people after I ask them what they want to do is what's holding you back. And we can't use, well, you know, it's really just me. It's me holding me back now. BS. Like there's a literal list of things that are holding us back. Right? Like if I wasn't a comic book artist, if I wasn't a convention artist, if I'd never done a convention, there are things holding me back from being in a convention. Plain and simple. Is my art not good enough? Do I not have money for a booth? Like, do I not even know how to do it? There's literal things holding me back from doing it. But most of those things are really little, tiny little hurdles. But those tiny little hurdles are enough to keep most everyone from doing it. If you've worked a convention, if you have a booth, especially if you're an artist, you've probably had people ask like, how'd you get into this? How do you do this? What's, you know, and they start asking all those questions. And then you tell them like, do you have a credit card? Go on to fanexpo.com and fill out an application. Chances are if they have an opening, you can get a booth. Now, what you do with that once you get there, that's up to you. And if they realize that you have no idea what you're doing and you're eating up a valuable spot, they may not, you know, approve your application in the future. But if you say that you are Mike Jones Art and you don't even have a social media, but you have a few $100 to pay for a table, they're probably just going to let you in. Most conventions don't look twice. They say, yeah, fill the spot. There you go. From there, it's what's holding you back. So these are the things I tell myself. These are things that I look at. And just working backwards from it, it's like I know about how many years I can physically do what I'm doing and how many books I can get done in that time and how many shows I can do in that time. And it's up to me to make the most of it. And if I'm not going to do this, I should probably make that decision sooner than later. But as all signs show, there's no part of me right now that's like, I need to go work for another company again. Early on, I was getting asked by some of the folks that I used to work with. I was getting asked, like, would you ever come back? Have you thought about coming back? And I think early on, it was one of those things like, well, maybe I come in, but come in a little bit more of like an entry position where I can keep my vacation time and have my benefits, but I can use my vacation time to go do shows. And that was sort of like a consolation prize, but like, no, now it's like, all right, I'll be honest with you guys, because we're just talking to the internet. There's times now where I have dreams that I have dreams almost every night. And I routinely have dreams where I'm back working for this company again. And they're asking me, it's almost like I'm still working there. But it's like I know in my mind I'm already gone. Like I've already quit. And they're like, well, how long are you sticking around for? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I feel like you guys still need me. And at some point in the dream, this is like a recurring thing. It's like it dawns on me that like they don't need me. I'm gone. They've long moved on. And the fact that I've had this call it a safety net of working for a company that has a system in place and a structure in place and everything else, where you don't really have to worry about how you're getting your money. You just need to show up to work and do your thing. Like the bringing in money part was much less stressful, but also like the expectations of what you do while you're there and the stresses that go with that was way more stressful. Now it's like, I don't know. I know about what I can do at a show, and if the show's not going how I expect, I know there's other ways that I can bring in money by doing live sales and stuff. Back then it was, hey, we're halfway through the month and you're not halfway to your goal. You need to put together a report as to what you're going to do to fix it. It's like, I could either spend time doing a report or I could just go do it. So, I don't know. It's a weird life. I live a weird life. I have a weird life. I am a weird person. I am glad that you guys are here hanging out with me. But I am going to call it a night. I got to finish packing up. Probably finish packing up some of the stuff in the morning. But probably going to play a little bit of a game. I've been playing, what's this called? Dungeon Raiser? Yeah, Dungeon Raiser. Stupid little 8-bit game. It's mindless. It's fun. I'm probably going to play a little bit of that and then call it a night. And then get up at bright and early, drive to DC. If I see you guys at Awesome Con, that would be great. If not, I'll probably do some more live shows in April. But then definitely do some live sales in April too. So if you guys don't follow me on Whatnot, give me a follow over there. Otherwise, guys, thanks for hanging out. See ya. Bye. 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 Good night.